The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, years after zero. And I want to let you know, my gambling picks are back. Hell yeah! I didn't just pick the Chargers -3 last night because A.J. Hawk, one of the best prognosticators on earth, picked the Chargers -3. No. I did it because I did a deep dive into both teams, and I thought that the Chargers were going to be a better team on Monday Night Football in front of Steve Levy, Comedian Greasy, and Louis Riddick, and the incredible crew at ESPN that had no Manning cast. I thought there was a good chance that this Chargers team was going to be able to show up and show out, and I'll tell you, they did.
Sure.
Hey, this Chargers team is a lot of fun to watch, and Justin Herbert is a fucking baller. I think he's the only quarterback, or the third quarterback of some sort, in the last, however, to have 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in, I think, like six games. This guy in his 19 games, he has 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 6 out of the 19 games he's played. This guy is unbelievable, an absolute stud. He wanted to move to Los Angeles whenever he was a kid. They showed us that on Monday Night Football. So he's always wanted to be a star, even though he was an introverted personality person. There's no other reason why you want to go to LA as a kid. Maybe you like the weather, I guess, but I think everybody normally says, I'm going to go to Los Angeles to be a star. I'm going to go to Los Angeles maybe get into the entertainment business. The fact that Herbert as a child wanted to move to Los Angeles made me chuckle to myself, because all the conversation is that he could not handle the big city. He wasn't a motivator. He wasn't this. He wasn't that. The guy's like 6'10", a fucking savage,
huge,
and has done nothing but ball out as soon as he got thrown into a game 15 minutes before it started because a golf tee, or 5 minutes before it started because a golf tee was shoved in the starting quarterback's lung. Fun to watch this Chargers team. Austin Eckler, friend of the show, was getting loose out there. And then on the flip side of there, the Raiders, not a bad team. Not a bad team. I mean, Joey Bosa came out and said Derek Carr looked a little soft out there. You say we got a couple hits on him early, and he looked like he was a little going into the fetal position. You guys saw it. We had him a little bit rattled. That's something that's going to be talked about in the NFL quarterback world forever anyways. And Derek Carr, there's always a certain conversation around Derek Carr. For whatever reason, he doesn't have any guaranteed money after this year with the Raiders, which is fascinating, because if you listen to Raiders fans, he should be the franchise for the next 10 years. For whatever reason, the Raiders haven't figured that out. He made some plays. Darren Waller, an absolute superstar. Carlson, the kicker, and Cole, the punter, are great, and John Gruden's always entertaining as hell. But last night, I think the Chargers proved that without a doubt, they're a better team. I think the Chargers proved that without a doubt, their stadium might be, the dumbest stadium in the NFL.
By far.
Now, listen, I know it was mostly the Rams owner's money. Kroenke spent $5 billion on that stadium. It looks like a spaceship. It's brought to you by a bank, SoFi Stadium. It has a cool name, cool look. I didn't know it wasn't a dome. That's just a fucking canopy. They built a goddamn metal canopy over the top of that thing. That was not a dome, because there was photos coming from inside the stadium, which I thought we had already seen all of, that there is free air kind of coming through the sides up there at the top. And they could have never expected that type of storm in Los Angeles, except for the first Monday Night Football game for the Chargers in that stadium. That 35-minute delay was quite a clusterfuck. Imagine paying $5 billion on a car that didn't have the windows, the capability to go up.
Ridiculous.
You know what I mean? That's basically what it was. They had the roof, they had the bottom, they had some, just one of the windows couldn't come up, couldn't go down. So that means we can't play the fucking game. Even though the TV crew stays on the field.
Have to.
No fans left.
Nope.
Delay the game 35 minutes. It's safety. Hey, safety, got to do what you got to do. But I think at home, I was like, this game's already starting a bit late.
Yep.
All right, here on the East Coast. I know over there are potentially good news, because people are sitting in that LA traffic, got to get to the stadium. Mostly the Raiders fans, by the way.
Yeah.
That was a very loud Raiders crowd, because, back in the day, it was the Los Angeles Raiders. Still a staple of that community, I'd assume, as is a lot of other teams. And the Chargers, if they continue to win, they'll be able to build that. But I did not expect SoFi Stadium to be the biggest embarrassment of the Monday Night Football. I thought it was going to be a showtime for SoFi. Because all the cool things, that ESPN does and the access they get. We've seen 8K cameras in the commentator booth at this SoFi Stadium. We've seen the suites and the lounges, and it was supposed to be $2 billion. Ended up being $5 billion. I mean, Kroenke was just pouring out money, hand over fist. LA real estate is obviously absurd, let alone building this high caliber, state-of-the-art stadium that was beautiful. I remember that fucking Jumbotron that lost power and ended up looking like all of our TVs whenever something gets unplugged, and it's huge and it's massive. That thing is gorgeous. It seems like there isn't a bad seat in the house. There's things to do. It's beautiful. Can't take a pretty basic ass storm.
Dusting. Yeah.
Can't do. I mean,
Small dusting.
LA's in the middle of a drought, I guess, for a long time.
Oh, nice.
So the rain is a good thing. I think rain is a good thing for everybody. But I mean, I understand that the lightning was coming or whatever, but that's why you have a roof on your house.
Yeah.
Like what? The 35-minute delay leading into that game was a little bit of a downer, but the Chargers turned it around for me. Toxic Table's here. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on Monday Night Football with no Manning cast, at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Ty, you first. Your thoughts on the game last night, the coverage, everything like that. That 35-minute delay was fucking befuddling.
Damn near took me out of it. It really did. I mean, I was on the couch ready for the game to start, and then I see, we're not kicking off till 9 p.m., and I kind of dozed off and then woke back up, and you have to get back into it.
You sound like an old-ass man, but I felt the exact same way.
Yeah, it really was.
I feel like I'm fucking 90 years old, by the way. I saw that delay, and I'm like, I ain't ever going to make it in the fourth quarter.
You get to that point in the night where it's like, hey, if we start at 8:20 here, that's going to give me a little bit of juice. I'm going to be back into it, and then, you're just waiting 40 minutes, and they didn't know what the hell was going on the field. Like, they kind of just had 40 minutes of it's like, well, what the hell do we do now? So, I mean, Hunter Renfrow is just a football player, so he was awesome, but outside of that really did take me out of it. I mean, I watched the first half and then just said, screw it. I mean, it was 14-0.
Whoa, you didn't watch the second half.
Couldn't do it.
Can't take anything this guy said seriously about Derek Carr. He just said he didn't watch the second half. I mean, it was like 2 a.m. at that point. This guy did not watch the second half. At Boston Connor, stayed up to watch that entire thing. Got some late night text messages from you. Your big takeaway, you love Justin Herbert, huh?
I love Justin Herbert. It makes sense that, he was the rookie of the year, and of course the Finns passed on him. Comedy. I mean, who most teams did. But
how about Tom Telesco? We talked to him, GM of the Chargers.
Yeah.
He said, sitting at 5, we felt good about all 3 quarterbacks that were potentially going to go in the top 5. We didn't think Washington was going to take quarterback. They ended up taking Chase Young. We didn't think Detroit was going to take quarterback. They ended up taking a corner, I believe, right? Kuda. So Tom Telesco told us, we were 5 or 6, wherever they were. They said, we felt really good about all the quarterbacks because Joey Burrow was obviously everybody's consensus number 1, but they had to scout just in case something happens, like the Mac Jones situation at 3 to falls to 15 or whatever. So Tom Telesco literally said, whoever the Dolphins took, who was 1 pick ahead of us, we were perfectly content on drafting the other quarterback. The Dolphins choose Tua, so Tom Telesco goes, great, we love Justin Herbert. We're going to draft Justin Herbert. If they would have drafted, the Dolphins would have drafted Justin Herbert, Tom Telesco said, all right, great, we got Tua. What a vastly different life those two would be living. I mean, a vastly different life. I mean, Justin Herbert, whole different world, obviously. Miami, LA, 2 different worlds. It's not his dream town to grow up in that he wrote when he was 10 years old on a piece of paper. Spelled a couple words wrong in there. Nobody really brought that up.
What an idiot.
Dumb. Actually, I don't think he did. I don't think he did. I don't think everything made sense. But just Dolphins fans, I think that is exactly where Fins Up went immediately. And maybe it's too early to judge Tua.
Of course.
Maybe it's still too early to judge Tua.
Yeah,
remember Josh Allen. Josh Allen in the most recent history, year 1, he looked like, okay, this guy, great athlete. Maybe we put him on special teams, though. Maybe this guy is returning kicks. He's 6'6". He's jumping over people. Maybe he should be a wide receiver. Let's do this. We get huge arm, awesome. We can do throwbacks with him. I mean, I thought that was potentially his outcome, and I don't think that's a little harsh, I think. But honestly, he was not good at quarterback his rookie year.
No.
All the intangibles are there. Big arm, seemed to be incredibly confident, calm. His teammates loved him, wildly athletic, but for whatever reason couldn't do it. Year 2 got a little bit better. Then year 3, it was like, oh my God, here we go.
Nasty.
This is a guy here. So I don't want to say, that is have Dolphins fans lost hope on Tua. But I think whenever you see what Justin Herbert's been able to accomplish 6 times, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in his first 19 games, and then you hear Tua's going through some shit, let alone, he's injured. Sometimes it was organizational issues. I mean, who knows what the hell's going on? But Justin Herbert has to be very pumped with the team that he has over there.
Yeah, because, I mean, he has the offensive line now, the weapons, and for Tua, it's like we obviously can speculate, but when the owner's coming out saying he wants Deshaun Watson, that's not speculation. That's just us listening to who the leader of that organization is saying.
Whoa. No, we don't know. Did he say it or did sources say he said it?
I thought he said it.
Sources said he said it.
Sources said he said it, so
Yeah,
I'm going to
it's-
trust the sources. That's what I usually do.
Well, but all the sources, there was smoke, right? There was a lot of smoke coming from that.
And when there's smoke, there's fire.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Had to be at least a spark to cause something to do a little bit of a ha.
That's right.
Now, we know that there is, and we try to wade through the bullshit waters every single day.
Of course. Sure.
But know that it is murky. You know, and it is tough sometimes to find.
A lot of shit.
You know, the piece of wood that Jack could have definitely laid on with Rose.
That's true.
I mean, that's what we're trying to find in this bullshit water that we're wading through is a door that is definitely large enough for two people, especially if I love them.
Yeah, deeply.
What a raging bitch. Does anybody talk about that enough? Probably not.
Probably
Rose.
Not enough.
Probably not.
But hey, she threw that $50 million back in the water anyway.
That's
so
right.
Yeah.
She did.
Shout out to Rose, dude. Hell of a story.
Hell of a story.
Thank you, Rose.
And unfortunately,
Why did Jack die, though? There's no reason. He could have got right up on the goddamn door with him.
it was cold.
Story would have been good that way.
Yeah, it was cold.
What if they both survive? They make it? What if they go on to be? They could have changed that outcome. It could have been like an American dream tale at the end that this couple
Yeah.
came together on the Titanic.
Pretty easily, but I mean, hey, that's the Titanic, baby. You know? That's just what they say. And
right.
to your point about stuff they could have changed, I'll tell you what came back to life last night. A lot of people dogging the broadcast on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, well, hold on.
A lot of
Before
people,
we
not
get to
me.
that, I got to get back because we are, waving the bullshit waters. But when numerous sources are reporting the same thing, it's hard not to be like, okay, everybody is either hearing it from the same person or everybody has different people that are saying the similar thing. So we try to do that. Sources did say a lot that they were trying to move on from Tua. Tua gets hurt. The initial reports is that he wasn't injured at all. He just got carted off for no injury. It's not serious. It's like, who the fuck is letting that out? Or the Miami Dolphins letting that PR out? Because then it turns out he has hairline fractures in his ribs or whatever the case is. But I understand what you're saying. Now let's get to your Monday Night Manning list.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football
It was a bummer.
experience. Why were you so, what's the deal? They're just calling a goddamn game.
Well, I mean, they try to call the game, and then usually there's a couple things that steers them in a different direction. Like, oh, what did you major in college? And it goes down that route for a little. And then, Greasy and the graphics, the graphics department over there, man, everybody needs to be getting all the money in the world because what they're doing is changing the game. They had Justin Herbert, did you see this? Dancing
He
a
was
little bit.
two-stepping a little bit.
Oh, man, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think he should probably sue ESPN for doing that to him.
What?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What?
But
He was two-stepping out there. I mean, he was getting after it,
that
know?
doesn't seem like
And
something he would do.
Greasy said he was in the middle, had a bunch of burgers in his stomach, too.
Yeah, they made him look like Gumby, though. Herbert's like 6'6" and yoked up, and he looks like an absolute stooge with like a humpback doing his little dance. And then Gruden, too. They put Chucky next to Gruden in his little graphic
they
when they
do
started to make
dance.
a comeback.
Well, and I assume Gruden does know everybody over at the Monday Night Football department. I don't know if it's a great relationship, not a great relationship. Maybe they just did a Chucky thing for whatever. But Herbert, you're right. Herbert is a
Beast.
stud.
Yeah.
He is a stallion of a human being.
Yeah.
And not only him, that team is, hey, they got weapons over there.
Oh, yeah.
They're legit.
Hey, go Bolts. They got weapons over there.
Ouch.
I mean, they didn't even really get to a couple of their weapons last night as much as they had in the past couple weeks. But as soon as they start clicking on all cylinders over there, and Austin Eckler is a fucking maniac as well.
Yeah.
Derwin James is a player on the defensive side of the ball. Bose is obviously an absolute game wrecker. I mean, they got a squad over there, and Ty Long, the punter, has a cannon. He has a fucking cannon,
Gun.
dude. Where's number one? I love that. Captain of the squad. Love that. How you doing? Keep moving, Ty Long. Great leader of men over there for the Los Angeles Chargers. They noticed in the middle of a 4th and 11 punt in the pooch area that, the Raiders didn't have anybody covering left gunner. Now, people could wonder at a time like this, if there's nobody covering the gunner, why they wouldn't do that. Well, maybe they're trying to bring out an all-out blitz, or maybe they're trying to get the Chargers to bring down the gunner so that, out of fear of a rush coming, so you bring down the gunner to block somebody, to block the corner that just came down. And in doing so, it is going to be impossible to get that person out because they're trapped in there, especially in a pooch situation. You can get them to not have a gunner, so it's probably a touchback or at least a return outside of the 20. So there might have been a little head games going on. Whatever the case, Matt Overton, long snapper of the Chargers, and Ty Long noticed that there was potential. I don't know if they checked it to himself, if it's an always-on audible, if there's nobody covering the gunner, you can throw it. But after some film research, I think what the Chargers realized was that the Raiders only had 10 dudes on the field. Okay, so the corner that was supposed to be out on the gunner on the left side was not on the field. It was 8 in the box. It was a single cover on the gunner to the right. There's one returner. You do the math. That's 8 plus 2 is 10. There's 11 on the field. So they didn't have enough men on the field for that. So Hunter Renfrow, who the returner, I think everybody has seen this like in high school games or whatever the case, the returner will count, right, and see if you're missing somebody. If there's too many, run off the field, right? So the returner's job is like how many, and then you run off the field if there's too many, and so they can't get 12 men on the field or whatever. So Hunter Renfrow had to look, he knows that they're in an 8-man box, so he knows that each gunner is single covered. So Hunter Renfrow had to look out at the gunners first, which is how you easily tell whether it's a 8-man, 6-man, or 7-man boxes by looking at the gunners. That's quickly how a punter can tell whether they're probably going to bring it or not. For instance, if you see 2 people on each gunner, that means there's 6 in a box. Quick math. If they have a returner back there, you can probably move up to about 13 feet and steal a yard off the back, or 13 yards, steal a yard off the back end because they're not bringing a rush, that it's a clear hold-up situation. Just little tricks of the trade to steal some yards on the back end. That was a really good day whenever I found out I could do that, by the way. But anyways, he fucking guns that thing, and Hunter Renfrow makes one of the best football plays I've seen in some time, because if they do have nobody on the gunner and they have the corner down in to rush, Renfro's job is to potentially look for a throw to the uncovered gunner or whatever. Instead, this was him realizing they were in a bad situation. We don't have enough people. Oh shit, 25, 30-yard sprint, helmet on ball, perfect breakup of a dime of a pass from Ty Long. I mean, obviously a nightmare for the brand, but you can't help but tip your cap to the guy, Hunter Renfrow, who looks like a 65-year-old man who's just an absolute stud out of Clemson for the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas Raiders.
In Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles. A lot of fans
A
there,
lot of
too.
Los Angeles Raiders fans still.
Yeah, it was loud when the Chargers were on offense, but also Renfrow coming back and scoring a touchdown in the third quarter, which basically put them back in the game for a little bit, and then it kind of faded out. But Renfrow's destined for New England.
I was about to say, what's that all about?
Hey, I mean, come on. You guys can catch touchdowns. You can lay people out on special teams. He looks like a combination of Slater and Welker and Edelman into one. I mean, come on. Put the Patriots uniform on. Gruden's probably going to get sick of you in a month or two anyways, because that's what Gruden does, and let Belichick pay you next year. Come on, Hunter. You'll love it.
Is he going into contract year next year?
I think he might have 2 more years.
And you got to remember, Mayock loved him, right? Mayock was the one that drafted him out of Clemson, and Mayock was the one that is on his side. So that means Mike would have to let him go too, even though everybody knows Gruden's calling all the shots over there.
That's right.
Hey, still a good football team, that Raiders team.
Sure. Yeah.
Still a good football team.
They got good players.
Hey, everybody on earth was on the Chargers -3 last night at Tone Diggs, host of Hammer Down, which runs 15 minutes after this show ends every Monday through Friday. It felt good. We're all on the same side. We all won. That was a nice little Monday, wasn't it,
It
Tone?
did feel good, and it was a soak. So we just put our feet up and we just watched the game and enjoyed it. There was really no sweat at all.
What's the shirt? Is that the Duquesne shirt or what is that?
Duquesne Rebels?
No, this is Ole Miss running Rebels.
Ole Miss.
Yeah. Yesterday, I had Ben Roethlisberger's shirt on. Support the current. Support the Hall of Famer. Today, I support the future.
You guys are going to have to get real low, right? Matt Corral's going to have to. You guys are going to have to really suck.
Maybe.
That might happen, Pat.
Because Corral's going to be a high draft pick, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what everybody's saying. He's going to be like
I
the
got
guy.
a Liberty jersey coming tomorrow, just in case,
And Aaron's coming
we
on
don't take
today.
Corral.
Who's Liberty?
Willis.
Oh, okay.
Well,
This is where you're at as a Steelers fan. By the way, this is one season.
Crazy.
This is one beginning of a season.
Malik Willis, yeah. He's supposed to be 1 overall. I said, hey, we're probably not going to get 1 overall. Take Corral.
Okay, so Malik Willis is
Yeah.
at Liberty.
Yep.
and then Matt Corral's at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And you're already trying to support all the list. This is what it's like in Pittsburgh with one. They haven't lost in 18 years. They haven't had a losing season. They're staring down suck this year. Okay, they're in transition phase. There's a lot that can be not great. Listen to what he's doing. He's already trying to support future quarterbacks of the team. As next year, he's already pulling for colleges now that aren't his own. I've never heard him mention Ole Miss's name once. Nope. Lane Kiffin came on. He loved Lane Kiffin. Loved Lane Kiffin. Yeah. Never talked about him again. Tone is that checked out of this Pittsburgh Steelers.
Not true.
Evan Fox.
Yeah.
Do you not think to yourself as a Detroit Lions fan who has this season every single season, do you not think like what mental weakness is going on with Tone Diggs in Pittsburgh right now?
I'll tell you what, if I can give Tony some advice or something to look forward to is that on Sundays, you don't have to stress at all anymore.
That's not true.
You know that you're going to lose the game. Actually winning the game stinks because you're like, wow, that's going to affect our draft pick. So I kind of like what Tony's doing. Welcome to my side, Tony.
Don, this is just
I'm
like when we were kids. We went down there to PNC Park.
Yeah.
We knew they were going to lose. They win, we celebrate. Yeah. That's what we did. You go down there, you tailgate, you play flip cup with a lady for 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Then you ask her, like, hey, congrats on the baby. Is it a boy or girl? Then you go into PNC. That's terrible. Don't do that. Then you go into PNC Park, you watch a game. They lose by 10. What a day.
All right.
That's
right.
That's not the type of fan I am for any of my teams. So you guys are spinning this around in a negative that I should have fucking
You're wearing
I should
a
have seen
shirt
this coming.
for the, what's that?
I should have seen this coming.
What?
You guys spinning this into this fashion.
Well, we're just trying to tell you accept
You're
reality.
doing
You're
what
doing
Lions
it.
fans
I have
do.
never accepted reality. I am fully mentally weak. You know that.
You don't believe in 7 anymore.
Come on.
No, I do. I supported him yesterday.
You got to support him every day.
Yeah, he sees you right now. You know, he doesn't look at a lot of other things anymore these days, but he
Still
sees
supporting
you.
him right here.
No, that's
Thank
not
you,
him.
Seven.
That was him for a
That's the
long
team.
time. You're actually supporting getting him the fuck out of town.
Next year.
No, the Roonies came out and said, look, we're not the ones that are certain that
We
this is
know
Ben's
that
last
was
year.
not
Not
true.
be his last year.
Tone Diggs, all I'm saying is this is crazy that you're already doing this 4 weeks in. This is like Urban Meyer trying to sabotage his own NFL career 4 weeks in.
Pretty smart,
This is kind of
Pretty
weird.
smart, actually.
There is a statement coming out of that whole situation. And who would we be, by the way, if we didn't cover that?
Have to. 1 of 32.
Okay? There's only a select group of people that can become head coaches in the greatest league of all time.
That's right.
And it doesn't matter what you've done before this league. Mm-mm. What matters is what you do in this league, the men's league, the varsity league. Now, college football is obviously very difficult to succeed in. Okay,
yeah, that's right.
There's only been a few that have really mastered it, and Urban Meyer was one of them. And congrats to Urban Meyer on his incredible college football success.
Attaboy, Urban.
But I think his arrogance, waltzing into Jacksonville and acting and behaving the way that he has, and listen, I am no perfect individual, okay? I was walking down the street in a state that was worse than Urban was in while he was doing his finger gun dance on Saturday when I got public intoxication. But we are also not the leader of grown-ass men in the NFL. We are also not peers with Bill Belichick and Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin. Like, we are not people that are head coaches in the NFL, because when you're a head coach in the NFL, not only do you have to lead men, but you have to be respected by the men in which you lead, because guess what? They're getting paid a lot of fucking money too. They've been very good at football for a long time. They probably have a similar football IQ as you, if not better than you, especially when it comes to NFL football. And you have to earn their respect, their trust, and you can't be looking like a unself-aware stooge on the weekend at your whiskey house.
There it is.
Okay? Wasn't the pint thing from
Wasn't
last
the
night.
Pine House.
Different.
It's a whiskey house.
It was Urban's whiskey place.
That'll
Yeah,
do
he's
it.
got 2.
That'll do
So
it.
that's a question in of itself, but I like that he's a restaurateur looking to build his business, whatever the case is. There's stories now coming out of Jacksonville. Lomba, who will be joining us in about 5 minutes, Michael Lombardi of the Daily Coach newsletter that I get, email that I get every day. It is awesome.
Great.
Yeah. Motivating and inspiring. The GM Shuffle podcast, the Lombardi line, he put out a tweet that his sources are telling him that things are brewing and it could get ugly down in Jacksonville. Okay? According to 2 Jacksonville sources, says Michael Lombardi, there are many closed-door meetings happening over the last 2 days in the football offices, and none of them have anything to do with the Titans. Stay tuned. This might get ugly, says Lombo. And once again, we'll be talking to him in about 4 minutes to see what more we can get out of him about this particular thing. But that was not it. Michael Silver of the NFL Network, a man who I don't think I necessarily have had any good relationship with. No. I don't really know him at all personally, but he has taken some shots across the bow at me, I think, a few times. Whatever the case. He says that his sources are telling him the players laughed Urban Meyer out of these meetings, basically. Jesus. His sources, now who knows what the sources, these are all anonymous sources. We don't know shit about any of this, okay? We don't know if any of this is real. Anytime you have anonymous sources, you don't know 100% what the truth is. But Michael Silver said that the players kind of have lost some respect for Urban because on Monday, they canceled the meeting. Urban Meyer canceled the meeting on Monday that they were supposed to have after Thursday Night Football because of what they were dealing with. So the players thought that he was embarrassed or, kind of immature. Like, hey, we're still having a fucking meeting here. Yeah. Because this is the professionals. And if we win, guess what? We all make a lot of money. Players were also particularly put off by the fact that Meyer canceled Monday's team meeting as he dealt with the uproar over the videos of him and a young woman getting cozy at an Ohio bar. He even canceled the team meeting. He was too scared, a player said to Michael Silver. He was too scared to step in front of the room. By the way, because it's much different than the room in which you control everybody's scholarships. And it's much different than the room in which you can literally ruin people's lives and trajectories and you have all the power. You are the dictator. You control the entire schedule. Whenever you talk about grown men, you're talking about people that are like, oh, this guy's fucking up my life. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if he would have attacked it face on, I think the players would have had a lot more respect. They lost respect because of the fact that he canceled the meeting. And instead, Meyer only apologized to position groups individually. He portrayed the woman in videos as a random person who was just there dancing. Suffice to say, his audience was highly skeptical. Said one player, we looked at him like, what the fuck? Right when he left, everyone started dying laughing. So literally, he comes in, boys, I got a little, they caught me doing stuff on the internet, and I don't want to be a distraction. It's all about winning football games around here, as you've heard me say. Coach, a couple quick questions here. Where were you? And who was it? Oh, that's my bar. Yeah, I have a bar. I got a whiskey place. I have a dance thing, and a girl's just some random woman dancing. You saw her just dancing around or whatever. It could have been anywhere or whatever. Thank you so much. Let's get back to work and let's beat the Titans. Oh, okay. And then he shuts the door and then. Through the doors. So Urban Meyer is walking out there. All right, thank you guys. Let's get to work, and shuts the door. And then
they bought it.
That laughing thing happens, and he just has to go. Oh, no. Jeez. Walks away. How do you stand in front of the team after you've been laughed out of a fucking room already?
Yeah, you don't.
You can't.
Yeah.
You literally can't. That's going to be tough. I guess if anybody can do it, you know who can? Urban Meyer can do it.
He can do it.
Freaking Meyer.
There's people calling for his job, obviously. They're saying that there's a chance that they were going to potentially move on from Urban Meyer. There's been a lot of reports that the players now are disinterested in the whole situation because, we're adults. We're all trying to make a living here. We're all trying to feed our family, and winning helps us all do all those things. And you've been pitching, turning around this entire culture, and here you are not even flying home with us on a Thursday night game. Mm-hmm. And then when you stick around in a time, you tear it down, and it gets seen by everybody. I mean, what the hell is going on? Joining us now is a man who's a general manager in the NFL. He was a coaching advisor, I think, in the New England Patriots organization for a long time. I wish we would have had him on before the Brady-Belichick Bowl, but that's 100% on me for forgetting to call and ask him about some of the stories that were coming out that have now been debunked, I think, by both Bill and Brady, which is very fascinating. A man who is a writer for the Daily Coach, host of the GM Shuffle podcast and the Lombardi Line, and the man who kind of stirred up the news this morning about his sources saying it could get ugly down in Jacksonville. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah! What's up, guys?
Hi, Zahn. How you doing? How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing really good. Thank you.
Hey, this morning, it's great to have you. We miss you around here. You know it. Let's just move on, though. All right? You look fantastic. It's great to see you. your tweet this morning saying that things could get ugly or might get ugly. Stay tuned in Jacksonville, which led to a Michael Silver report about what players have been saying. So I would assume, I don't know if a player is your source, I'd assume that's not the case, but now it feels like multiple parts of the building are starting to get the same feeling down in Jacksonville, if these sources are accurate, yours and Michael Silver's. What is your thoughts on how this whole thing pans out, and what are you hearing as of this moment?
I think a lot of this is about money, right? I think this is more about money than Urban going to continue as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars beyond this season. I don't know if Urban will make it through the season. He might. I don't know if he'll make it to the next game. He might. But I do know that I think this is problematic on both parts. I think that it doesn't fit. I think the Khan family realizes it. Today I tweeted that about there's a lot of closed doors meetings. Last night it was relayed to me that Urban was concerned they were trying to get him on cause. And that permeated through the building. And I got a text about that late last night about perhaps they're going to try to fire him for cause. I don't know if they're trying to do that. I do know that
for cause means they don't have to pay him, right? Yeah.
This is really what I do know. This is essentially going to become about money, because I think there's going to be a divorce. I don't think that press release, illustrated any support towards Urban and the regime that's going on so far down there in Jacksonville. And I think it's a lot of problems. And I think that was craftily worded by a lot of legalese people, smarter than I am. But I do think the issues in the building, the closed door meetings, the concerns about all those things, starting with the fact that in my 35-year NFL career, I have never, ever been on a team plane where the head coach wasn't coming back with me. Never. I mean, if I would have been the general manager of Jacksonville, I would have said, Urban, you got a lot of money. Fly home with us, go into the hangar, and then fly a plane back to Cincinnati if it's that important to you. This is as much about your commitment to our team, you're staying in the trenches with us, than it is anything. And to do what he did to me, beyond going to the hanging out, all that's something he's got to deal with himself. This message he sends is horrendous.
I agree. And speaking of the message you were talking about, Shad Khan, in which you felt that a lot of legalese was potentially in there, as you get a phone call, maybe from a source, you might want to answer that. Bring that statement back up so we can read it to the listeners that maybe didn't see it. Shad Khan had a statement from his notes section via Ian Rappaport's Twitter account. I've addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversation will be held in confidence. What I will say is his conduct last weekend was inexcusable. I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. Now he must regain our trust and respect. That will require a personal commitment from Urban to everyone who supports, represents, or plays for our team. I am confident he will deliver. This is not a statement that you want to be delivering about your head fucking coach in the NFL, first of all. Second of all, it sounds like Shad, now even if there is legalese in there, maybe Urban Meyer does have a chance to kind of build back his credibility down there and get back on the vision that he and Shad Khan had whenever they decided to invest, I think like hundreds of millions of dollars in the area around the stadium, and we're going to build Jaguar land and Duval and all this. I mean, there was an entire vision about turning around. It was a couple years they've been talking, since a Big Ten conference in Illinois a couple years back, and he'd been advising Shad, and then now they're having to deal with this type of thing. So maybe he is able to win it back, but you've been in for 35 years. I was only in an NFL locker room for 8 years. Once those guys think you're completely full of shit, you can't lie to an NFL locker room. Like, that's just not something that happens. So I'm surprised that was his angle. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
Paisan?
I mean, look, the problem is one of the key components of leadership is called management of trust. The players have to trust you. You can be an asshole. You just have to be a consistent asshole.
Yep.
You could be, it doesn't really matter. If they trust you're an asshole, they'll trust it. But if you're an asshole to somebody and then you're not to somebody else, you lose their trust. And I think he's lost their trust. I think he's in a job that he wasn't really fully prepared for. I don't mean this in any disrespect to the University of Indiana or anywhere, but at the NFL, there's no easy games on your schedule. You don't get Indiana next week. You don't get Purdue next week. It's hard. It's hard. And every coach on the staff is intellectually challenged to match it. And if you can't walk into the key meeting room and say, look, here's what I want to do on defense, here's what I want to do on offense, when all you're concerned about is really who's being recruited, I think it's a job that he probably shouldn't have taken. I mean, he's best for college, where he can control the recruiting element and he can sign 5 stars, which is what he loves, and as opposed to trying to play tactitional football coach.
Is there, because there was a little bit of a belief, it felt like some Jaguars, even players and everybody was kind of buying in. We're not elite is too much. We're going to live on the edge down here. I want certain players that are on the edge. And he would give a press conference and he would say, in the NFL, I don't even get to meet with these guys before we sign them. I'd like to meet everybody and learn about them. And people are like, yeah, Urban's right. Like, we should change the way the NFL is. I mean, there was at a time, I think people thought this was going to go really well. Did you expect him to fail this quickly? I did not. I thought he was going to struggle. I thought he was just going to be middle of the road, just kind of middle of the road. But after 4 weeks into this thing, and that's not a lot of time, by the way. We got 17 games in a season. I think he signed a 5-year deal. There is still a lot of road ahead potentially in which one. But it seems like this has been a disaster, Lombo. A disaster.
Yeah, I mean, it had all the earmarks of a disaster. First of all, just look at his staff. I mean, Joe Cullen's a wonderful man. He's never called defenses before in his life. It's a hard job, right? He hires a defensive coordinator. He brings Charlie Strong in, who was a former head coach. The offensive staff's got Darrell Bevel and Brian Schottenheimer, 2 guys that one guy was fired for the other guy in Seattle. Bevel's West Coast. Schottenheimer's more of the Norv Turner system. They can blend it together, but they don't play tempo. I mean, I think it's really the mismatch of the staff told me that Urban really didn't prepare for pro football. When Jimmy Johnson walked into Dallas, he had a complete defensive staff. He had Tony Wise as his offensive line coach. He hired David Shula to be his quarterback coach, and then he made that mistake, and eventually he went to Norv. But his staff was what he wanted it to be, and it was college guys that took their college game to the pro. And when Jimmy came in the league, everybody said you can't play quarters coverage. And Jimmy proved them all wrong. You could. And now everybody plays quarters. But the reality here is Jimmy had a football staff that he brought with him. Urban's not that guy. Urban's a recruiter. And recruiters don't last in the National Football League. It's a chess match because the talent level is the same. It's player development. It's about how we're going to get the best out of our players. It's scheme. It's each week's a different week. That's not the game Urban's going to play. Matt Rule can play that game because that's what Matt's used to. He's at Temple, Baylor. He understands it. Whereas this guy's been at the elite programs. He walks on the field and he's just checking his watch. Well, we'll win by 30 today, maybe 40. I don't know.
Yeah, because he's like a CEO there. He gets people into the building, all the best athletes. Let me get the best players in here because I can offer them a lot of incredible things. We have the greatest facilities. Our fan base is incredibly passionate and loyal. They'll show up. This place will be the best place we play in all year. We're going to win. We're going to do our thing. And you're going to get a degree. Come on in. Okay, cool. I'll come into the factory that is that. And then whenever you just hire an offensive coordinator, hire a defense coordinator, hire a special teams coordinator, then you have a recruiting coordinator, then you become like a figurehead at that point, right? Don't you kind of become a figurehead?
No doubt. I mean, just look. I mean, the whole staff he made a mistake on the staff. He had to get rid of the strength coach originally. He was insensitive to the situation down there. He made that mistake. I mean, really, what's happening to him? He doesn't have anybody who's advising him on what's going on. Like when you go into the NFL, if you don't have a plan on how you're going to attack this and what you're going to do, and you've studied this league for years, and this is what I want to do, it's not going to work. I mean, Lou Holtz tried to do it. Bud Wilkinson tried to do it. A lot of college coaches have tried to do it. Nick Saban. Nick Saban went back to college. I mean, it's sometimes it's better in college than it is in the pro. And you've got to be able to convince the players you can solve the problems, right? Because they're counting on you to solve the problems because at the end of the day, they want to make money. And if you can't solve the problems, you get toned out.
Yeah, him getting laughed out of the position groups, by the way, is if that's a real story, that's going to be a tough crowd to face tomorrow if you're Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Todd.
They're not going to believe him, right?
No way. That's why he should have just went in there and said, I got drunk. I fucked up. I apologize, boys. I'm going to move forward. Let's move forward. Let's try to win some games. Everybody be like, all right, cool. But going in there being like, I mean,
but again, he doesn't even come back on the team plane. He basically watches his team, have a heartbreaking loss to Cincinnati, right? And then he doesn't have enough to get on the airplane to fly back and talk to him on the plane, make sure everybody's healthy.
Yeah,
where are we
walkthrough.
going? What are we doing next week? Here's what we're going to prepare for. Here's how it's going to get better. You work the plane. You got to work the plane flying home. You've seen head coaches do it all the time. They go back there, they sit down with the team leaders. Here's what we're going to do. We'll take a couple days off. We'll come back. We're going to bring it back in here. Meanwhile, he stayed in Cincinnati. I mean, how do you do that? How do you even comprehend doing that? You're the general. You don't even go with your troops home.
Yeah, I agree completely. And that wasn't made public until the reporter asked the question, by the way. The reporter asked the question and had that in the question. So I think the reporter was also just as surprised as everybody else in the NFL that he wasn't on team plane. I've heard of a couple players maybe sticking around or going to something if it's Thursday night and be who you can afford to be, depending upon how the game went and everything like that. But I couldn't even imagine the head coach, the GM, or whoever just being like, nah, you guys get on that fucking sorry-ass plane of losers and think about what you did. I'm going to stick around and see my grandkids. Oh, and then also, by the way, I'm going to go get lit. Is that what you guys call it? I'm going to go get lit at my own place. That's a bad series of events for a guy. I mean, bad series of events. And
it just shows you where is his level of understanding and the reality of what he's dealing with as a leader, right? He doesn't think his decisions through. It's the same thing when he put together the staff. He doesn't think his decisions through. And look, this. When you stand in front of the team, you got to convince the team how they're going to win this week. Do you think anybody believes him when he's going to say how they're going to win? I mean, Khan's in a tough spot. He's got 5 years. He's going to have to figure out how to get out of this. And I think this is more, as I said to begin the show, I think this is a lot more about money than it is about they think he's going to turn this around.
Yeah, I think so as well. Can't wait to see how it pans out. And even after letting your team fly on a plane and you not doing, which is 35 years in the league. AJ was in Green Bay. I don't think you were ever in Green Bay, were you? No.
No.
I was in Indianapolis. You were never in Green Bay. Green Bay had the same thoughts. You were in, I think, Oakland, Cleveland, New England, and everywhere.
I mean, could you imagine if if the head coach went over to Al Davis and said, I don't want to get back on the plane. I'm going to stay here and hang out with Al Davis would have okay, well, you're never coming back. You can just stay right there.
Actually.
He would have left him on the tarmac like Lane Kiffin.
Exactly. Well, Lane, yeah. I mean, just when I thought Lane had grown up. Just when I thought he grew up, and then he does that thing on Saturday afternoon. Just terrible.
Oh, you're talking about dropping the headset and running off. Popcorn ready. And they stared down the camera, by the way. Imagine if they go and win, though. That is, you know what I mean? He knows the game he's playing out there. We have a few minutes left here with Lombo. Can't thank you enough for joining us, Michael Lombardi.
No problem.
That Urban Meyer situation is fascinating. Very fascinating. Go ahead, Ty.
Lombo, another guy in the hot seat. Nagy relinquishes play calling and Bill Lazor, but then in his press conference says, reminds everyone, hey, I'm the head coach and I have a say in what's going on here. And then it comes out that Dalton is still potentially the starter when healthy. Do you think it's a race between him and Urban to see who gets fired first? What the hell is going on in Chicago?
Well, I think the McAfee family probably doesn't want to have to fire. I mean, they should have fired Matt last year. And Ryan Pace, the general manager, they brought them both back, shockingly. So I would bet money on Urban going before Nagy. But, I mean, Nagy is the problem is the further they get into the Nagy administration, the Bears, the left toughness they have, their offense. I mean, look, you can beat the Lions. That's great. The Lions have the trifecta.
Wow.
They're slow. They can't rush the passer, and they can't cover.
That's the Lions, baby. Really hey, that's Lions football, baby.
Other than that, though, they're a great team.
Other than that, they're a great team. They have the trifecta. I mean, they really do. And so when you score 20 points on the trifecta, God, take all the battles you want. I mean, seriously, it's wonderful. But, I mean, Alabama might have put 20. I mean, that's
Hey, the people at Detroit do not deserve what's happening to them right now.
I'm sorry. I mean, you got to grade what you see. I mean, I'm just telling you, they're slow. They're slow. They can't rush, and they can't cover. Other than that, they're fun to watch.
Yeah, Michael, Pat mentioned it earlier, but is everything that we saw about Brady and Belichick complete bullshit? And was that the relationship you saw when you were in New England?
Yeah, were you any of those? Hey, hold on. And also, thank you for bringing this up, Connor. Sorry to jump on you, but after hearing this, did you know who the sources were too? Did you guys know?
I couldn't tell who. I mean, there's probably so many of them coming out. Look, let me say this. I love both. and I've been around both, and I talk to both, and I've never experienced both of them not having the greatest respect for one another, right? And like any great partnership, there's always going to be some disagreement, but I think it was done in a mature fashion. And the one thing I will always say, people say, well, Belichick went into the visiting locker room. Belichick is not a passive-aggressive leader. Belichick is not somebody who's just going to ignore a problem. He's going straight to it. Now that conversation is going to be between him and that person, and you'll never know what he said. You will never know. You will never know what that conversation was. But the whole thing, it forced me to basically, I muted the game, the entire game. I had it on mute. I enjoyed it so much because I didn't want to listen to it. It's just a bunch of noise. It's all this crap that's going out there that people have no knowledge of. Like, they built a six championship level team. I mean, Brady did it all, but all the players that were there, what do you think they felt like when they're reading that it was Brady that won 6 titles? Do you think they think that was fair to them? So to me, it was just a bunch of the media just steamrolling, and then they get clicks, and there's certain media outlets in this country that love to create the story as opposed to report the story.
That is fascinating to think about. That is the state of the media. You're not the first person to say that, but I do recall whenever Lucas Oil Stadium was being called the house that Peyton built, there was some potential Hall of Famers that were flanking him that were like, kind of fucked up, but also, I guess, reality. And now there's a statue of old buddy out there and everything like that.
Well, let me ask you this question, Pat. I mean, and I say this, and I love Tom to death, but if only one player could win Super Bowls, if it was only the quarterback, if it was only one, Peyton would have 10. Because there's nobody better than Peyton. Nobody.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he won 1 with the Colts. And so it takes a team. It takes a village. And that's what I think everybody misses. It takes what Brady's greatest achievement that he was able to do for the Patriots was he allowed himself to be coached just like every player. That allowed the whole excellence to come out, the standard of excellence, the performance. That's what Brady, by doing that, allowed the Patriots to build the Patriot way.
And I said,
that's tremendous.
Yeah, that's a trait, by the way. That's a talent that not a lot of people will be able to have, especially whenever you're getting into your late 30s and you're already counted as the greatest of all time. That is something that not a lot of people would be able to have. That is a trait that should be talked about. Last question here. We only got like a minute left. Go ahead, Diggs.
Okay. Lombo, what's the reason why Gruden's teams are always better in the first 2 months of the season and then they fall apart late?
Well, because they run out, like he auditions his new stuff and then they don't really change, and then they don't adapt and people get a chance to look at him on tape. And I think what we saw in the first 3 games, their offensive line, I think we saw it last night. It's not as good as everybody thought it was. They got pushed around last night. They got beaten to the punch last night. And I think once that quarterback gets hit like he did earlier in the game, he kind of doesn't play as well as typically he should. I thought he was on his way to an MVP season. But last night, he didn't look like the same player because he got roughed up a little bit. They were coming after him. And they were really coming after him. The penalty on Joey Bosa for the unsportsmanlike conduct, I mean, Joey Bosa got grabbed and tackled back there. It was horrible. But I think that's the issue. And then I don't know how good they really are on defense. I really don't.
Well, I think the interesting thing about Derek Carr is that a bad night? Or is that an actual plan? Because Joey Bosa came out afterwards and said, hey, we know if we just muddy up the pocket a little bit, Derek Carr is going to get a little bit antsy in there. We love, hey, good person, good football player. We're just telling you what.
I couldn't disagree with what Joey said. I think that's the thing on Derek. He's got to prove people wrong on that. And if you hit him early, and as Al Davis said, the quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard in the first quarter, that I think that's right. I think you saw that in the game. They played that way, and his eye level came down. 3rd and 5, he throws that check down over there. His eye level's down. That's what worries you.
It worries me not having enough of you in our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, host of the GM Shuffle Pod, writer of the Daily Coach newsletter, and also the Lombardi Line. Ladies and gentlemen, an award-winning author as well, Michael Lombardi.
Thank you,
All right, we have to get to a break, Lombo. Sorry about it, pal. We literally have to. We're back in 4 minutes, wrapping up hour 1 here on this beautiful Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. Big distraction this weekend in your hometown, the town that you live at, a bar I assume you frequent. Now, there's another angle coming out where Urban Meyer allegedly stuck his 2 fingers into the butt of a young co-ed wearing jeans. AJ, as somebody that lives in Columbus, Ohio, the alternate
Does
angle.
this video show that exactly?
Yeah.
The alternate angle is damning.
I've seen them all. I know.
Urban Meyer sticks a finger gun into butthole of lady who was once seen dancing on her wearing jeans. Is this a normal thing that happens in Columbus, Ohio? Is this expected? And what happened, do you think? Have you been at that bar?
I mean, yeah, I think he was at his place, Urban Meyer's Pint House, right? It's his own restaurant. And then what he said in his press conference, a group next door wanted some pictures, so he went there, and he should have got out of there when they tried to pull him on the dance floor, right?
Yeah, the group that was next to us wanted some pictures.
What?
And then they wanted some tequila. We have the best tequila in town.
What?
And then we had some cocktails.
What?
We had some spirited conversation about the Buckeyes.
What?
And then we went to the dance floor.
What?
I shouldn't have went to the dance floor.
What?
Once you get to the dance floor, one thing becomes another thing, which ends with two fingers in the butthole, it appears, of a young co-ed, and this is obviously a distraction for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we tease and pease towards everybody down there. Obviously not fun, not cool, but, you know, alcohol will do something to you every once in a while, get you feeling a little freaky out there, especially in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah, I'm also, like, no one's talking about it. I'm worried about Urban's health. I mean, like, people talk about his heart, but he has 2 collapsed testicles from coming in his pants so hard
That's
from,
true.
you know, sticking his fingers up that girl's butt. So I just hope Urban's doing well. I know it was a tough weekend. So ice those balls down, Urban.
Ice them down. I mean, do you think he's put it in the past? Is he past this now? Is everyone going to forget about it?
I'm sure.
He addressed it.
It's definitely a spank bank.
I think so. I think we're all past it, man.
Oh, boy.
And the first video came out was from an account called Urban.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
guy
really? Did
is
they make an account just for that?
I don't know if this is a regular thing from this particular account. I stumbled upon it just this week, and I think as all of us did. And then that video got taken down. And I wondered how. You know, what was the go about? Did they have to look at surveillance? Who was sitting at this point? We got to get this thing going. But alternate angles are now coming, and obviously Urban, and I assume his team is, you know, his team's probably, hey, you're all right, man. You don't have to worry about us, by the way. Seems like you're probably going to have some other conversations, but let's go win some games out there, Coach. Let's go ahead and do that. But God damn. Whoa, what a moment.
Yeah,
all right, we covered it. We addressed it. We had to.
Well, but now they're in a deep dive for ass and titties on Snapchat because that is the one who put out the video of him finger banging.
The alternate angle.
The alternate angle.
Great
yes.
journalist.
All right.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. Although Iowa and Pennsylvania do appear to look very similar in size and shape, vastly different population. There is a spread the love happening only in Pennsylvania and Iowa leading into this weekend's big-time Big Ten matchup. Mm-hmm. Both teams are starting at plus half a point. In Iowa, every 100 people that bet on this Spread the Love campaign, up to $25, it'll move up a point. Okay, so it'll go to 1.5, what? And 2.5, what? And 3.5, what? And 4.5. And for every 100 people, it'll continue to go to the point where Iowa will be plus whatever. You won't lose your money up to $25.
Right. Let's go.
And then in Pennsylvania for this matchup, every 500 people, because populations of the state were taken into consideration while making it, okay? Mm-hmm. A lot more people in Pennsylvania there is in Iowa, so probably 5 times the amount of people in Pennsylvania as there is in Iowa, maybe even more than that. So every 500 people, the line will move up. Who's going to get a higher plus this weekend?
Well, the Hawks are going to win straight out, so it's going to be tough for people to. I mean, if you're a Penn State fan, though, you might want to get that thing up to plus 60, 70, because there's a chance. Kirk's dogs are coming.
And once again, it's only in Iowa and Pennsylvania.
Right.
Okay.
But at least it told me that these two teams were playing against each other this weekend. It's a big game.
Big game.
Hey, it's a big fucking game. Torrey Taylor's about to ball out.
Hell yeah.
Hunter for Iowa plays no games out there with a football.
That's right. Jack Campbell on that defense.
Oh, he flies around.
Oh, yeah.
Iowa.
Hell yeah.
They don't need the plus points, but we'll take a lock for $25 going into holiday season.
Hell yeah.
Spread love, dude. Hour 2's on the other side with AJ Hawk. We'll see you in 6 minutes. Cheers.
Chargers are still growing, getting better.
Okay.
I don't think the Raiders can play any better than they've played.
Okay.
Chargers -3.
Okay.
I picked the Chargers just because
Hell
that's
yeah.
what AJ picked. You know what I mean? Just because that's what AJ picked. But I like the Chargers, I think.
I'll take the Chargers.
Yes.
He made the pick.
I like this one.
I hate touchdown props.
Justin Herbert to throw 2 TDs or more and Chargers to win plus 160.
You have got to experience so many things, both as a businessman off the field and on the field. Is there a moment when I ask this question that pops your mind, like, what's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your entire life? Because there was a time there where it felt like you were just getting dropped into insane situations and the world was like watching you do things. Man vs. Wild, you and that Bear Grylls guy, fucking electric. That was maybe the most electric shit I've ever seen. Is there anything that you think of whenever you think, like, what's the most ridiculous thing you've been a part of?
Probably some of the most ridiculous shit I ever been a part of was, I had got the restaurant which I'm in right now, and when we first got it, I would come in here and I would, clean up and go outside in the front, sweep up, make sure everything looked nice and shit. And one morning I got up here and I noticed, damn, this is a funky ass smell. And I looked, to the side of my front door, and it's a big ass pile of shit. And I'm talking about human shit.
Yeah,
and it's right on the side of the door. So I was like, somebody done came and popped the shit right in front of the door. Like, oh, this shit is crazy. Like, I can't be in here serving food. Motherfucker come walk in and they smelling straight ass cheeks when they come in there. Like, I don't think that's the restaurant I need to eat in. So, man, I get the water hose and I'm hosing it down. And, I see, we got a couple, dolphins that usually walk back up in front. Hey, man, did you do this? Like, oh, no. So, one of them owned up to it. I said, listen, man, check it out. So you don't do this no more. Look, you come by here, we get you we get you a broom and, you help us, we help you. You feel me? And, we put together a little, I put a proposition together for him, and I ain't cleaning up shit no more.
It's a win-win. It's a win for everybody on that one. Hey, one of your former teammates. Yeah, hey, everybody wins. You're helping the people, man. That's awesome. That's why people love you. But hey,
one of them owned up to it. Just a line of questioning. The line of questioning.
His name was Willie. Willie owned up to. Matter of fact, he just left out. He said, sweeping up. He like, hey, what's up? Oh boy, I've been looking for you. You feel? Okay. Yeah, we bust down together up in the front of the restaurant to get it all cleaned up and everything.
Hey, you're helping people. Hey, Willie went from shitting outside to working inside. Let's go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's go, Willie. Let's go.
Give it up for my boy Willie, man.
Let's test out this Sharon. Proper footy. Seems like it has a bigger sweet spot. That's the greatest sport on earth right there. Aussie rules football, also known as footy, AFL. My first time bombing in official shorts that are a little bit restricting. I think I lost a ball, to be honest. Might be a Lance Armstrong situation down here, but I can see why this sport is beloved, because those balls fly. Need to get down to Australia, meet up with the Magpie boys, and finish out this AFL season as maybe its biggest fan in America. Let's have a day. Roger Goodell gave me a big hug beforehand, too, so that's good news there. Thank you so much. Shane, you drinking? Yeah. Cheers to you, man. That was a good one. That was good. Oh, I feel like it went pretty good. Oh, look at the phone.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about. Yes,
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 2 of this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, years after the year 0 was found. We'll begin right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. The Talks Table is here at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt, the host of Hammer Dahn, alongside at Bubba Gumpina. Tone Diggs, the COVID Cowboy, is here, and joining us from his attic in Columbus, Ohio, the home of Urban Meyer's Pint House and Whiskey Bar.
Whoa.
College football national champion, Super Bowl champion, and Ryder Cup champion, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk. AJ, how you doing, man?
I think you left one out. I think he was at Urban Meyer's Chop House, like the steakhouse part. I was unaware of this place. I think there's like 3 almost separate spots.
What's that, Chops?
Yep, there you go.
What? He's at his Chops at Chop House?
Chops Urban Meyer, I guess, was at Urban Meyer's Chop House, which I'm unaware of this facility. I've not been to that one.
Hey, just real quick. Your father-in-law's name is Chopper, and he calls everybody Chops and Chops. Does he ever go to Urban's Chop House? Does Chops go to the Chop House?
I would have to ask Chopper if he has been there. I mean, Chopper's real name is Tyrone, but he goes by Chopper, and he calls everybody else Chopper. You're right. In forms of Chopper. Chops. Yeah, all different kinds.
I believe he said, "How's it going, Chops?" to me.
Nice.
When I saw him on a shadowy patio in his front porch, sitting on a rocking chair all by himself. I was like, oh my God, this is a movie right now. Sam, excuse me, I got to go shake the hand of a man that I've heard about. Hey, Chops stood up, had full conversation. Good guy, great guy. I did not know he was at the Chop House. So Urban has a pine house where you drink the finest of locally brewed beers.
What?
Wow. He has a whiskey bar where I'll tell you what, they say it's hard to find old Pappy Van Winkle. Not at Urban's fucking whiskey place. No, he's got it all down there. And then he also has got the best Hinden for the cows over there at the Chop House.
There it is.
Wow.
On the corner?
Woo-hoo. Prime real estate.
Prime spot. I think the
bar
whiskey
mitzvah?
bar is connected. Is part of the Chop House though.
Is that next door where they should have went to the dance floor? I should have stayed at the Chop House. Should have stuck with the meat and the potatoes.
Hands in my
I
pockets.
went over to the goddamn whiskey place, and all of a sudden, Pappy starts rolling a little bit of Jack, a little bit of Acres Mark, and then we got this Meyer Reserve that I fucking had made down there on Bourbon Road down there, and then he starts dancing. One thing turns to another, and then all of a sudden, he's fired by Wednesday. Is that what potentially happened in Columbus? Is that how it went down over there?
I mean, it's not looking great. That's for sure. We hear of all these meetings going on behind the scenes. They're looking for cause, possibly. I don't know what's going to happen. And what are those play? Like, what does practice look like tomorrow when they get on the field on Wednesday?
I would assume it's very similar to how my reaction was when I came back to the field after my public intoxication the morning of, when I showed up and they were in the middle of practice. I did put my jersey on, though. It was very nice of me. I think there was nobody inside when I got there. I was like, this is not good. And I had to do a long walk. It's almost like Coach Caldwell put them on the farthest field on purpose. They were on the farthest field away. So I had to walk across the whole thing, and there was a couple like, hey, good to see you.
There it is.
Good to see you. Hey, Bill Pauling wants to meet with you, but hey, it is good to see you. And then that was it for that day of practice for me. I was obviously met and then sent home for a week or whatever. That was obviously a great conversation, but I think there's a couple moments where, he's staring. And this is the difference between college and pros. This is the men's league. He's staring men in the eyes as he walks into that team meeting, and I assume there's little stairs down to where he's, because it's like a, like a theater, an auditorium type setup. I'd assume that's how every team meeting is set up. Him walking, that door opening, him walking down their steps. I would love to be in there with this fucking guy.
There he is.
Hey, and if he doesn't just buy into that, like if what he's saying to allegedly Mike Silver's breaking of NFL, if he's walking into the position groups, he's like, even though the guys have seen the videos, okay, the guys know everything. In the NFL, guys know everything.
Stephen A. hasn't seen it. He's only read about it. He said that today on First.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's hard to read. I don't know. And I do feel bad because I don't know if you're reading it. It's like you're a blind person with Braille, Stephen A. is choosing just to read.
The segment was set up. You said those segments are pre-planned usually too.
Oh, so you think he had time to potentially see the 30-second alternate angle video that came out just yesterday on ass and titties Snapchat account?
I don't think he saw the original video. He claims, but hey, maybe I agree. Maybe he just doesn't want to expose himself to stuff like that. So I give him credit.
Whatever the case, Stephen A. didn't see it, but Urban was acting like the team didn't see it when he was going into position groups and saying like, it was just a random woman, I'm so sorry, that whole thing. And then he just walks out of there and allegedly the source says he was laughed out of the rooms by his team. Like that is, unless they're laughing with you, it sounds like a big laugh at situation.
Yeah.
If he doesn't buy in though to the situation, the reality of it, that team is going to chew him apart. I mean, it is going to be a tough thing, I think, an awkward thing for old Urban, who doesn't control every single moment of these players' lives like he did in college.
No, I mean, I think if it's true, like what Mike Silver is saying, that he canceled the team meeting and he met with people, individual position groups, which he actually said in his press conference. He said, like, I met with them, position groups and individually, so he must have talked to a few guys. So I don't know if he canceled a team meeting or not. I think that's a huge thing where players, like, it's a missed opportunity where he could have just, if he 100% took ownership, was authentic, and was a bit vulnerable, like he could have turned the tide, I feel like, and people are like, okay, this dude's a human, we understand, and let's see, like he's going to have to prove to us that he's going to be whatever, which is kind of what the owner said, I guess.
Listen up, boys. All right, you saw it. And that's what this will do to you. Mm-hmm. Just like I was preaching to you, okay, I'm a human, I make some mistakes. And if you guys are ever in Columbus, the Urban Meyer Whiskey Bar is
we got a place for you.
Top notch.
The guy that I hired to run it, he's a fucking aficionado. Mm-hmm. This guy's palate is unbelievable. The way he can take down these bourbons. He doesn't even know if it's a cork barrel or aluminum or tin or something. It's fucking, we got it all. But anyways, boys, you saw what happened. I drank 3 of these. All right, that's a lot. You make bad decisions when you do that. I am so sorry for being a distraction. I didn't mean to do that. I won't do that again. I obviously have some stuff I have to take care of at home. Family's obviously above football in all of our eyes. I have to do this. I have to take care of this. I fucked up. I'm going to make it right, just like I hope you guys will with the group of people that we have brought into this room. We're high character guys. Every once in a while you fuck up, you slip, you move forward. That's what we're going to have to do. We're 0-4. I haven't handled it right. I don't think I have been that great of a coach. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this thing going forward. I think the players, if he was to do that, will be like, all right, at least this motherfucker's acknowledging the situation. Okay, at least he's acknowledging the situation that is real, as opposed to potentially going in there higher, mightier than thou, thinking that the players are idiots. Like that ain't going to work. I don't know.
Yeah, and the players, the NFL players are not taking like a moral stand, like, oh, I can't believe he would do this. They could care. That's not at all the issue with them. It's everything surrounding it all. I guess it all comes into play, but man, what is do you have a team meeting tomorrow morning? The Wednesday morning, like, install meeting where you go over the overview, how we're going to beat this next team. Like, okay, guys, here we go, Titans. You can't just pop up your PowerPoint deck right off the bat. You're going to have to address it.
Everybody keep it down, please. Let's get this meeting started. Thanks. All right, keys to the game. Imagine it's
I mean,
it's
honestly, it might happen.
Keys to the game here. We've handled this weekend, right? We're past it. Keys to the game. Random woman. I didn't know her. Okay? I wasn't wrong. The person that filmed me was wrong. Did you see how fucking despicable that was? We're not talking about it. Keys to the game. Special teams. We need to not do what we've been doing. Defense, we need to not do what we're doing. Offense, we need to not do what we're doing. All right, fucking break it up.
Let's go out there.
What if he just moves? What if he tries to move us through these moments as fast as possible? That would be absurd. What a situation he has himself in. This is his fault. I think he should address it head on. Anytime you have a PR crisis or a trust crisis or anything, you need to just dive right on into this thing and address it head on, and people will at least appreciate it. It sounds like he's dancing around a little bit. Have you got any word from anybody else in that building, how they're feeling about the whole thing?
I have not. I have not gotten word. There's, people are the people I know in the facility are somewhat quiet right now when I reach out to them.
Why is that?
I respect the space that they need to work through.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, Schleiks, what's going on?
Come on.
Schleiks, we still deadlifting? Ha ha ha. Trying to open them up a little bit.
Hey, I did. I texted Schleik and say, hey man, good luck with this. Good luck navigating everything. He said, you know me, attack and dominate with an exclamation.
Okay, let's talk about something other than your friend Urban Meyer. So last night we all picked the Chargers, and you said you were going to pick the opposite. And I was going to say I was going to pick the Chargers, so you would have ended up with an even worse record than you actually did for picking the Chargers. We're all on that side. I think we're all incredibly impressed with Justin Herbert and that entire Chargers squad. Brandon Staley is the head coach. He seems to only speak in coach speak, and by that I mean I think that's like his natural way of operating is like a head coach. He's supposed to be like, hey, clear eyes, full hearts. Here we go. Hey,
let's go, boys.
Here we go.
We can do it.
He's gangster. This is gangster. I think that is like who he naturally is. He's found his calling, and I think he's known it ever since he played in college as a quarterback, by the way.
Whoa.
And he's a defensive guru. It's crazy.
University of Dayton, you know that?
Yeah, he's a flyer diner. He flies around on the offensive side of the ball, and then he hopped on over on a helicopter to the defensive side of the ball, and now he's a quarterback who's a defense coordinator, so he's really the perfect head coach candidate. And it does feel like that is the case with him. That same team last year lost a lot of close games. Now, is it them evolving and getting older? Maybe, but also maybe it's just a little shift in the way things are being presented or the way coaching is happening or the relationship between player and coaches. And I'm not saying anything about Anthony Lynn. I'm just saying maybe Brandon Staley was the missing piece for that group to really go to the next level, because I think they kept a lot of the same coaching staff as well. So I think that Chargers team is going to be fucking awesome to watch, and I think last night was a nice howdy doody, how you doing? This is our home stadium, even though it's all Raiders fans. We're a good team, though.
Well, was it last week that we had Eckler on the show, and when we asked, like, hey, what does Staley do to separate himself, and he's like, oh my goodness, like how he presents the plan and how we're going to beat the team. He tells us exactly what we're going to do, and then we go out and we execute it on Sunday, and we do exactly what he said we're going to do on Wednesday. And it works out like, yeah, players like, okay, this dude's helping me become a better football player and helping me win games. So however he's getting his message across, it's working.
How do you feel about Hunter Renfrow kind of fucking up that fake?
Unbelievable play by the dude. Great play.
Unbelievable. They only had 10 on the field. Like, that's not his job in that particular situation. Now, if they had all 11 on the field and they were choosing not to leave or not to cover the gunner on that side, then it would be his eyes to follow the punter if there's a fake that way to break that up. But they only had 10 on the field. He just made an incredible instinct read play and had a break on the ball from 30 yards that he somehow got there after Ty Long, the punter, lasered a ball on the back shoulder of this. I mean, it was a laser beam of a throw. Hunter Renfrow's a hell of a football player out there.
He's a great football player. And you know what? I would guess that Hunter Renfrow played multiple sports growing up. I'm sure we all would know how great of an athlete he is. This guy, the routes that he runs, just crazy. The China route, I know Greasy talked about a bunch that, I don't know how you cover that with 2 or 3 guys, to be honest. But he's an athlete. He's a ball player. Go make a play. Figure it out. You don't have to sit there and look at the sidelines. Hey, coach, we only have 10 players. What do? I stand here and I freeze. No, he saw something and he made a play.
Scrappy.
What? Yep.
First one in, last one out.
What?
Coach's son.
What?
Lunchbox type of guy.
What?
Hard hat type of guy.
What?
Never gonna quit.
What?
High motor.
What?
Gritty.
What?
Fucking Surprisingly athletic.
What? Good hands.
He is Hunter Renfrow. Runs perfect routes.
Yeah.
Great hands.
He's awesome.
He's great.
Hey, but what I'm saying, I know you're still going with it, which you can pick it up after. But what I was trying to say is,
White.
I think
What?
There we go. Yep.
I just put the.
But
put
Hunter
the bow
Renfrow
on.
isn't. I'm saying if he was like a trained athlete that was a specific. Hey, this is my sport. I'm going to try to create the perfect football player. Like a lot of times when you do that, you can get this weird like straight line thinking where everything is black and white, and this is what I have to do.
Zito just did some research. His dad is a football coach. Actually.
Okay.
He is a coach's son.
say.
He actually.
Where, like in Alabama or where?
Are you saying that
Myrtle
strictly because how he
Beach,
looks?
South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach.
Wow.
This dude's from dirty Myrtle, bro. Myrtle Beach is one of the greatest places on earth if you want to go ahead and have a dandy of a time. Okay, it is a blast. Gonna get a little trashy. I mean,
Okay.
it's gonna be a little bit trashy.
Check it out, Urban.
Gonna have Urban Meyer.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he'd love
You'd
it down
love
there.
Myrtle.
Anyways, I think you were bashing people that say you only can play one sport. Though there, it sounded like that was a little bit of a bash at that thing right there.
Yeah, I know that's a whole thing, but I think you're.
How
looking
is
at-
that a thing? How is that a
I've
thing?
never had a coach that I respect tell me, yeah, you should quit, just specialize in one sport.
But was this an actual thing? Was this parents saying this? Was this
Still is. It's parents a lot that get in, because every sport now with kids, it seems like, is year round. There's no like off season. They have it all. I'm like, no, it's fall. We play football. In the winter, we're going to play basketball. In spring, we're going to play baseball. That's how it works. That's what we do. So I don't
This is
know.
Ohio.
What, like,
Yeah.
All right, this
Welcome.
is fucking Ohio. All right, in the fall, got the pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the winter, you're shooting free throws and you're getting rebounds.
Get your Jordans out.
Okay, and then in the spring, get the fucking Louisville Slugger out. We're playing baseball, America's pastime. Put that on repeat rest of your life. And let's hope you go to college for one of them, because your dad and mom do not want to pay for you to further your education. So good luck out there. I feel like any person that's ever amounted to anything in athletics has come out and said, though, you should not specialize in one sport. You're not doing yourself a service or a favor at all. How did that ever? Was that all fugazi? That wasn't a real thing, right? People.
I think it was
No,
like
'cause coaches do
AAU
it.
coaches,
Yeah.
right? That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the big
I see,
thing.
especially like
Basketball, baseball.
different sports, hockey culture, soccer culture is big on. They don't want their kids playing other sports. At least the places I have been around, like coaches do that.
Soccer culture did seem to turn their back on me a little bit when I started kicking.
Yeah, and kids who do like academies and stuff, they not even.
But I
allowed to play
turned
in
my
high
back
school.
on the soccer culture, though, too.
Yeah, had to.
Because I had to. I actually played one spring with West Virginia for a few weeks or whatever on their team. Man, I found out I was not in shape when I played soccer. And it turns out 3 years later, I was in worse shape than I ever was. But I love this. That's an interesting thing, because soccer is all year round. It's fall. Spring is the most important. That's cup soccer. That's like AAU. But fall is high school soccer in at least Pennsylvania and probably in Ohio. So that's obviously rather important as well. So soccer is year round. And I guess hockey is hockey culture or
It's the
something?
time. It's the time. Like if you play hockey in Ohio and you're a kid, there's not a whole lot of hockey for them to play. So their parents like, we're driving. We're going to Pittsburgh. We're going to Minnesota. Like every weekend, they're driving to different states to play. It's like
And then in
time,
the
it's just
summer,
crazy.
where you could be doing something else like baseball or football or something like that, most kids are like training for hockey season.
Dryland.
Yeah.
Oh, dryland training. I used to remember when Phil had to go do drylands or whatever. I'm
Or
like,
they're skating. They're working with a skating coach or something.
what is dryland? What are you doing? We're going to go run sprints. Oh, so you have a cardio session you're about to go to. Yeah, dryland.
Dryland.
I was like, dryland sounds like the worst time of all time. I am out of here. But that is, you can always tell a good hockey player or a wrestler, just hand them a basketball.
That's right.
You know what I mean? They didn't have a lot of time to learn how to fucking shoot a basketball.
Shot put that sucker right out.
Right up. But I'll tell you what, on the boards, in
God.
defense, they will take charges. They are not scared. Our friend Phil, CFO Phil, who hockey player, all right, this guy, he also played football and baseball, cannot shoot a basketball for the life of him. He took a charge from somebody running on the other side of half court in an intramural game. Other side of half court, he eyeballed where he thought he was going to go, and he stood there and took a charge, obviously came up full celebration. It was against Slar Monster. It was against Chris. Took a charge against one of our friends and danced in his face. Like, that's what you're going to get out of the hockey and the wrestlers on the hardwood. And
Wait, in an intramural game, like a pickup intramural game, he took a charge?
listen, our intramural was serious. You're going to think I'm joking, but I'm not.
High school or college?
High school. We used to have fans come to these fucking intramural games because our basketball coach was a maniac. All right, good guy as an adult, but he was he ran a Bob Knight type operation.
Yeah, wow.
All right, I mean, it was. So a lot of us who played other sports were like, we are not spending our winners. This is not how we are going to spend our winners. Like, this is not going to happen. So I think it potentially did deter some athletes from playing, but the team was good, though. But you had to buy in, and we didn't do it, so we were kind of fans. So the intramural actually picked up pretty big, got going good. Team I was on, I don't think we ever lost a game or a championship the entire time. CFO Phil was on another team, though. That was his decision. That was his decision,
Really?
and it was a bad one.
Jeez,
yeah.
Phil.
I mean, it was good rivalry. Diggs was also on that team, I believe, there for a
Tony.
little bit, weren't you? Yeah, you were.
I
on
went
the Bills.
over to
My team, yeah.
my senior year
We had legacy teams, too.
and carried it on.
Yeah, and it got passed on to generations.
Did you play at the rec center or where?
No, at the high school, in the gym.
That's sweet.
People would come watch this thing.
How do you have intramural leagues that they allow you to play on? So it's somehow you at least have to sign waivers.
The
through
teachers
school.
had a team. The teachers had a team. We played
So it
against
was
the teachers.
affiliated with the school. We never had that.
One of the teachers took my legs out on a dunk attempt.
Jesus.
That's an actual
Don't
good.
try to dunk on him.
It wasn't. He came out of nowhere. It was literally just going to be
Like
an
Gary
off.
V, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And it was a fucking teacher. I'm like, what am I supposed to do
Can't
here?
have it.
Yeah, my guy Solar Monster, great player, baller. He and I used to go to Boys Park and play, so we had pretty good chemistry. We're on team. And I didn't play my senior year. I coached because games did get pretty serious in there.
Smart.
And a lot of things were going on. But my junior year, yeah, he was on an open break, could have done a layup, looked back at me and goes, basically gives me the eyes, we're going for this thing. So he puts it off the top. And at this point, I had only dunked in Boys Park courts, which they cement. So it gives you an extra,
Little spring.
Yeah, it gives you an extra little, not spring, but also it takes 10 feet is
Yeah,
all of a
about
sudden
it,
now
yeah.
9, 10, 9, 11, depending upon when they're paving that thing. So it's a little bit shorter. But man, the first time I did that, I felt like a fucking god, by the way.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So I didn't even know if I was going to be able to get up enough. I get up, I grab it, goes off back of rim, teacher under my legs, down on my back. Yeah, it was a wild scene. Absolute wild scene. But that's intramural basketball at Plum High School. I mean, those things are going to happen out there. I made my free throws.
Of course.
Was that the teacher that was touching kids?
Actually, that teacher did play on that team. I do not think it was by the way, there was a couple of those, though, right? There was two.
Jeez.
So that's normal? That's like a normal thing in Plum?
No, it's not. That's not what we're associated with. Great athletes, great academics, and great things. These teachers just so happen to hijack the narrative about Plum High School.
We rooted out the problem.
Yeah, we got rid of them. We sent them all to jail. They're all in jail. All of them.
They're probably
Still?
locked down.
Still down,
defenders.
yeah. I couldn't even imagine the COVID cases they were potentially getting in jail over there, especially.
Oh, they might have got let out because of the COVID.
No, I don't think they're letting these scumbags out.
Hopefully not.
A couple of them had 12 different relationships or something like that.
Jesus.
Like every year they had one, and then would even go see them, I guess, whenever they would come back from college.
That's
legal. When they come back from school, then the kids are actually legal, though. It's still messed up, but they're legal.
Allegedly. I mean, this is all alleged, but then they got a couple of them to find out about other ladies that potentially existed because it was all very secretive, obviously, this whole thing. And then they all just kind of turned on him, I think, and it was just like...
This guy was just slinging meat all around the hallways.
Just because it's legal don't mean it's right.
That's right.
That's right. It's entrapment, actually, and it's disgusting.
Grooming.
But yeah, he was grooming, yeah. I guess that is the thing. He was a little holier than now, that guy, too.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Like smack him right in the mouth.
Interesting attire from AJ today, not wearing one of your funny shirts today, huh?
Yeah, what's that all about, pal?
I never wear funny shirts. I just whatever I have
AJ.
on the shelf, I put up.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's talk about some other things going on around the NFL.
Soon I will.
I think you have everyone that's been made. I don't know if there's any more, honestly.
We'll see.
That's not a challenge. That was just like that was not a challenge.
More in the mail.
Let's talk about Myles Garrett got drug tested after playing Sunday without sleeves. Did you see this fucking human?
Yeah, I saw the picture. That's not Photoshop. That's real.
Are all these things of Myles Garrett photoshopped or not? Because I watched some videos in the summer or whatever, and it'll be him with his shirt off, and I'm like, okay, that was definitely done with the same filter that all those fucking Instagram fucks have. They give them a 10-pack and ripped up. How do these people live in the same world as me with pizza and sandwiches and not have a little bit of chub on them when they're not a professional athlete on Instagram? So I think there is some sort of filter that some people have, maybe a little Photoshop they're able to add. I don't know if Myles Garrett at this point is Photoshopped. This guy,
I think so.
what is that? Look at his thigh attached
But he
to
can
his
move.
shoulder. Like, he has
thing
a
is,
thigh.
look at him. If you look at him, like, okay, this dude could be a professional bodybuilder. Usually, those guys, like, I'm guessing they're not as good at athletes as Myles Garrett. The fact that he can move and bend and dunk and play basketball and everything and look like this, I mean, he's not human.
And by the way, that random drug test is not random. Okay, we all know it. The old piss cup lord is looking down on any performance that you have or anything you do and randomly selecting you. I brought this to people's attention back in 2013. I said this in 2013 on my Twitter account. You make one random tackle, okay? And I don't know which one it was. I assume it might have been Trendon Holiday one, I assume. I'm not 100% sure. End up on a random steroid test list the next day. Must be my bod. Hashtag upper body of an adolescent. Okay, so my big thing was there's no chance I'm going to fail this test, so I'm going to go ahead and publicly state this. And I don't know if this is why nobody has done it before, because they think like, oh, maybe a supplement I took was tainted, or maybe something in my food that I didn't even know I ate was potentially going to show up in this test. Which
that doesn't happen, but yeah.
I agree, but maybe in the supplement. But people have had all these excuses in the past where that maybe I knew there was zero chance. I didn't take any supplements. I didn't even drink energy drinks at that time. So I was like, this seems to be a bit of a joke, and then it became a trend. That random test hasn't been random for a long time, AJ Hawk. I mean,
you're right. It hasn't. It does seem to, and guys are much more apt to put it out now, probably because of you, but also in the same time,
can't fail.
You have spurned guys that absolutely did not get chosen because of a play they made the day before, but they think they have, and they posted, oh yeah, oh there we go, make 7 tackles, and here we go. Now I'm getting drug tested, and no one knew the dude made a tackle, like just stuff like that.
Oh, so you're saying abuse leads to restriction? Like some people are potentially randomly selected, and there might be like 2 that is like handpicked. You're saying, and then these guys, they think they're in the handpicked situation when really, hey, you're just a random motherfucker getting your piss collected.
They think they're like, oh, you guys saw that? You saw me lock that gunner up on punt, didn't you? Yeah, you know they test me today.
Hey, sometimes though they do Debo, folks. Though it do be like that sometimes out there.
It do be like
that sometimes. Adam Vinatieri hit some 50 yards something. He was we knew it. Like literally as we were walking off the field, like, yeah, you're getting tested tomorrow. He's like, yep. Literally did the next day. It was like, these are things that are probably going to happen. The NFL and the NFLPA probably don't ever talk about the legitimacy of the randomness, but I think Myles Garrett knew that when he walked out there with 2 thighs hanging off of his shoulders with no sleeves on, he was probably going to have to give his piss for a, what the fuck do you got going on, pal? And that is absurd. Hey, by the way, shout out to the NFL for having that guy in the league.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy's in the league. Hey, that guy represents the NFL.
Have you seen any in-person interviews with Siciliano and Myles Garrett?
I have not.
I was just thinking like that would be an amazing visual.
I mean, Joe Thomas probably taller than Myles, or no?
Myles how tall is he? 6'6"?
I think he's 6'5".
But like, could you imagine if Myles Garrett like picked him up and put him on his lap and had him ask him all the questions?
Like a stuffed animal.
Yes.
I mean, Myles could do that to me. He could put me on his lap and ask me questions.
He could certainly put all
strong
of us.
Enough.
Sure. But I think what you're saying about Siciliano, though, you were saying he's figurine size. That's what you said.
4'10".
Yeah. I would never say figurine size.
That's literally what you just said. You literally just said it.
You did.
It's on the record.
No, I said the visual.
What if
like
fucking Siciliano goes bagel boss on all of us, by the way? Maybe you guys need to relax a little bit with the Siciliano.
I've had Siciliano's back from day one.
We all have.
Always.
But now AJ's like, imagine Myles Garrett just picking up Siciliano like those little egg things.
Hey, run it back. Run it back. You think, did I say picking him up? Never once.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you did. You put it in my head.
You literally
said pick
lobbed
him
it
up.
up.
You knew my kids at Christmas going to the mall to sit on Santa's lap. That's what you said.
It's unbelievable, dude.
Connor's brain is awesome.
Well, it is. That is a fact.
I'm glad I can infiltrate and put things in there for him that I want to say, but I just make him say.
Well, you did that Bobby Carpenter as well. And this seems to be a little tactic of yours. Old hero Hawk out there not saying anything, but it seems like everybody around him saying terrible things.
Interesting.
That's fascinating.
Hero. Yep.
Old hero Hawk.
Oh, while we're at this.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How come you were killing squirrels and hanging them in people's lockers?
Oh,
yeah.
Luke Fickle told us about
That
some of the
wasn't me.
shit you that wasn't you, huh?
Schlage's got one in the parking lot with his bow and arrow. Yeah, for real, 100%. Put it in the locker.
Jeez, Jags are gonna have to come out with another statement now. Way to go, AJ.
He may have. Allegedly, he did that. Yeah.
You're allegedly, of course.
Because he had just come from hunting, I guess. And
He had the paint on. He had the paint on.
He didn't still have it on. He would have the stuff on. Like Schlags would go hog hunting, and go kill all those hogs, and then he would go set a grill up and feed the homeless people with it. Like the Schleg's, that's the kind of guy he is.
Schleg's a hero for sure. Let's get back to him killing a squirrel in the fucking parking lot though, and then hanging in
Good
Luke
shot.
Fickle's locker. That's an incredible shot. Was he standing in his truck bed? Squirrels are pretty skittish.
I think he was getting out of his truck. Squirrels are small. Think about how tough a shot that is. I don't know how far away he was. I have no idea, but he brought it in.
He is Hawkeye.
That's unbelievable. Because it's not easy just to get your boat, so you got to have space. Remember, my dad tried to run down a car that was speeding in my neighborhood, and he grabbed a weapon, and it was a bow and arrow. And it was like, what's going to happen? Best case scenario here, you know? That guy's going to open the door, and he's going to fucking pull the... Like, how long was this squirrel on its dying days just sitting? Because that's a full process, right?
Yeah.
And then he's got to determine how far away it is for which one of the thing is. And Schleg might
Was
just
there
be...
wind?
Schleg might be a superhero with this goddamn bow and arrow, huh? Is that his only shot, only attempt?
I believe so. I think if he would have
Allegedly.
missed the first time, the squirrel would have left. Don't you think?
Well, then the next day there's always more squirrels, though. I mean, that is...
So maybe he shot. Maybe he was doing this for years, and then we finally saw the one time that he got it.
This is the red 18.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, still, I think he's going to have to answer questions about killing some random squirrel in the middle of the street, in the middle of a university, and then putting it in somebody's locker.
It might have been me then. It might have been me that did it.
Well, I think that photo kind of seals it.
Hey,
I was trying, Schleg. Sorry, but
hey, that thing has that thing's got the juice. I bet you that's not easy to pull.
No way.
Vinatieri and Justin Snow took me to an archery range, I guess. And it's a pretty cool thing. The way they have the tech set up, this is years and years ago before the Oculus, basically. But they would have deer on like a screen, and then you would obviously shoot the screen, and it would go, and it would do a full like virtual reality type thing.
Sweet.
And then they would have little, things would like be hanging, little targets, and you could shoot there. And I just couldn't get the fucking thing back.
Big buck hunter.
For
It's awesome.
15 minutes, I couldn't get the fucking thing. I was just, oh my God. And they had this thing that you put on there, you actually can pull it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't tell me that. 15 minutes, I got my hands being cut off basically by this goddamn. And then I got the fucking crossbow, and I was an animal. I was an animal with the crossbow, but I couldn't handle the bow and arrow. I'm not tough enough. I wouldn't have been able to survive back in the day.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, crossbow don't. I think people that shoot like bow and arrow, they think crossbow. Like, oh, why don't you just use a rifle, bud? Like they think you're not a real sportsman or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. They know that just by looking at me, though. Yeah, they know just by looking at me, I'm not real. You know what I mean?
Crossbow guy.
I don't
aren't
know
you?
though. I feel like you could be pretty decent at archery if you really dove in.
I do got the things now because I do have a bow at the house.
Yeah, can't you just click it? So like you only have to pull it back here, and then you can kind of just wait and then click the button.
That's the crossbow too. The crossbow you can actually just pull and it just sits there. Yeah, there's my crossbow right there.
I mean, maybe a little practice. You put some fruity pebbles out by the pool, and you put a couple arrows in those raccoons' heads.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
You know,
Yeah.
just right through the side of their neck. Maybe you get all
those are
three of them.
pets.
Nah, those raccoons have lived an incredibly privileged life thus far.
That's what
Exactly.
I'm saying.
They
So
eat
if
better
they were
than
to
me.
die,
Easy
now
shot.
wouldn't be
Now
that
is not
big
the
of a
time.
deal.
Time to end it.
These raccoons.
They're not expecting anything, man. Easy shot.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. This guy would never.
Now, just for future reference, there's a lot of deer living on the property now. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
They
deer
can get
living.
it too.
The house would say they could get it too.
No, they can't. Okay, they are citizens of the estate.
They're a menace.
The possum,
That's
however.
game. They're overrunning the estate.
Nah. Not even allowed to shoot in where I live. By the way, city limits can't shoot. You
That's for a
No one's
gun.
gonna
You could
know.
definitely shoot it.
don't bring your crossbow or
telling-
bow and arrow. Those are citizens of the estate.
What about just a slingshot?
Yeah.
Just hitting them right in the skull with a rock.
Maybe a
Gotcha.
shovel.
Hey, I will say this: the deer have gotten a little bit. Okay, Nick. Jeez Louise, that'll be a little violent. But the deer have gotten a bit comfortable.
Yeah, and
You
they're
don't
telling
say.
all the other deer in the neighborhood,
Bro.
hey, come on over.
Yeah, last night
Well, it's time to
I drove
sacrifice
in.
one.
I drove in. No.
Make an example.
Be as
String it
comfortable
up.
as they want. You know, do what you got to do, dude. I was driving down, staring this deer eye to eye.
Jeeping?
In my front area.
Oh, wow.
I came home last night, kind of, because it's getting real dark early,
Yeah, it's weird.
and it's real dark in the mornings too. That's fucking me up right now. I'm gonna have to change
to get
my
up.
mindset. Yeah, it's hard. But I was just staring this deer down, drove right by it, didn't even move, parked it,
Man.
walked up behind me. As I got out, it was like,
gall.
"Jeez, this is a dog, dude.
Yeah, you can't
This
be-
is an outside dog."
Hey, put a leash on him. Bring him in. That's awesome. I think it'd be cool to raise a deer like a dog from a young age.
Listen, the deer is living a very good life on the property. It doesn't need to be in the fucking house. It needs to be outside. But the dogs and the deer had a moment the other day where Chuck, a little bit of a prick, he chased down the deer, and that same mom that is not scared of my truck finally got to the point where she's not scared of Chuck anymore. And she stopped, turned, and did like a little stomp thing.
No.
Jeez. Chuck hits the brakes, rolls on his back, poops himself.
I mean, you got to take a side now.
Poops himself. Then he comes running back, okay? Then the mom comes walking back with the crew, right? It was almost like a whole thing. And they were just chilling. So then the next day, Sam lets the dogs out. They both just walk out. They stare at each other, go about their day. Now they're all just a part of the pack now. The mom had to stand up to Chuck, make him poop himself. And then now it's all just one big harmonic situation.
Until you put an arrow right between one of those deer's eyes, because you got to take your dogs' side on this one. They don't want them there.
Chuck had to learn. Listen,
yeah,
Chuck,
they have to deal
Chuck
with it
had
now.
to learn. He pooped himself. He had to fucking learn. He's been getting a little bit too confident anyways with the way he's been moving and grooving, pissing inside when it's raining outside, not even on a carpet, on the hardwood. So then it's just everywhere. So all of a sudden it becomes an ice skating rink. Like, hey, Chuck, I hate to break it to you, pal. If this mama deer wants to alpha you in the front yard, I'm going to fucking let it happen because you need a little bit of that.
Yeah, but it would be nice maybe to just take a battle axe and cut that thing's head off, take it to a taxidermist, and then you got a nice little trophy in your living room.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Remind all these other deer, hey, you want to fucking try to curb stomp my dog? I will slice your head off
Turn
and
you
make
into
an
one of these.
example out
Now
of
we're
you.
talking.
What
Hang
is your
that
guys'
hide in the yard.
Get you one of these.
What's your guys' problem? You
I'm
guys
just
are
saying, you
scumbags.
can't
No.
trust these deer.
I like
Can't
your
trust
dog.
the damn thing.
All right, let's get to a break. Yeah, we're
I mean,
gonna
the
talk
more-
sports on the other side. This is disgusting.
Why would you rather have your dog piss on your carpet that you can't really clean up? Hardwood, you just wipe up.
Bro, I can just roll up that carpet and guess what? Throw it away. Get a
Room,
fucking
you
other
cut
one.
the whole room up.
Well, it's a rug. I
And then
apologize.
Make a rug out of one of those deer.
We
Yes. And then
Boom.
and then Chuck pisses on the deer. Hey, you want to stomp on me?
Yeah.
Not
Guess who
anymore,
wins?
pal.
Chuck didn't get stomped on. Okay, just to be
Could've.
clear. The deer, for those of you that have never seen a deer in the wild, okay,
Oh,
you were talking to me on how you should act.
Give me
How you should act.
everybody.
Everybody here that has 0 dead bodies in the deer department
Did you
talking
have
to me
not
about
Did you have
what
first
should
day of hunting
happen.
season off?
Huh?
Did you have first day of hunting season off school?
Yeah, you're goddamn right I did.
Yeah, me too. We went to the same school.
We did.
We'll see how much you love these deer when one of these mornings when it's dark out, you pull up and bust its guts open all over your truck, and then it's all, this deer,
Yeah.
I love this thing, while you're picking its innards out of your grill.
First day of snow this year, and one of them's knocking on your door. Let me in, Pat, please. It's freezing out
Nah,
here.
they got fur. They got a winter coat.
They're still going to be freezing. It looks real nice by the fire. Please let me in.
Nah,
Stupid deer.
no, they
Bouncing its dumb head off your window.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. This is going too far. These deer are good deer.
For
These
now.
deer are good deer. They got good morals.
Tide's going to
For
change.
now.
Tide's going to change real quick.
Yin said that about the raccoons, and it turns out they have gnawed a hole through our deck up
Yeah,
there.
and they're living in your chimney,
What do you
correct?
know? What do you know?
How about that?
They've weakened our entire infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay, so things did turn a little
Structural
bit.
integrity of the deck has been compromised.
Completely. Can't even go up there. We have a grill sitting out there. Can't even get to it. It's going to end up going through there. All right, because the raccoons. And you guys have called that from the very beginning that there's going to be some outlying issues potentially with this raccoon relationship.
Well, you stop feeding them, they start eating the wood?
No. I think it's their poop, and then they also. I mean, there's a
Acidic.
full.
Yeah, it's because they're comfortable. Yeah, fuck it. He won't care if we drill a hole in his roof. Well, what's the difference?
It's a deck.
He's not going to kill us.
It's the deck.
Deck 2.
No, not 2. I mean, the hole in the roof is from the incredible storms that we had, and I've been offered a free estimate by 45 different roofing companies. That's very nice of
That's
them.
what insurance is for,
That's
baby.
very nice of them.
What about the chimney?
All right, we're out of here. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls talking sports. We're not talking raccoons or deers getting their heads cut off with axes. You hear me?
Even if they
That ain't
warn.
this show.
Hey, Connor, next time you pet sit, you know what's going to happen, Pat.
Yeah, don't you worry. I got you.
What?
You won't have a deer problem. You won't have a raccoon problem. You're definitely not going to have a possum problem. You're going to come back home and there's going to be all these plaques of these animals on your wall.
Listen, the opossum is a marsupial.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, it's the only marsupial on North America.
That's right.
All right, it has a little patch like a kangaroo.
Yes, it does.
And it looks like a dinosaur if you look at its jaws.
And that's why you need to shoot that thing in the head.
No, the opossum lives. The
No.
opossum's good. We got an albino opossum out there.
You seen the teeth on that thing?
Those are the worst kind.
And plus, that means the taxidermist will really love that. A rare one.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes with sports. This is a show that you should not watch or listen to. Jesus Christ. Chris Mad Dog Russo is going to be furious that this has been on his air. We have no idea how to do the subway system, but Z is doing the directing, the mapping, the planning.
Well, my tell is in 10 minutes, that train should be ready. He knew his shit. He said it's going that way. This is Zito guided tour. We're not going to get a spot on the train. We should get on an Uber.
This was a bad idea. This was a bad decision.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, this is going to be interesting.
Are we on the right way to Yankee Stadium right now? To the Bronx.
I don't like that hesitancy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
New York is it's a bit much. There's shit everywhere. It smells like shit. There's a lot of people, but it's a hub of industry out here, you know.
Thank you so much.
Hey, let's go now, Yanks. Hey, what are we saying now, Kanaki?
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the I rose up, loaded my soul, it's a gold rush. Honor and freedom, my toast up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Right on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms individually. I heard the voices that told us. Throw dirt on my name and wish me the worst and scold us. Shot through the heart and pray on my downfall. But Yahtzee prevail on my own. Stand on top of this.
Hey, I said it was salami time.
On my chest like Olympic gold. Rap it smooth on the floor like a jazz song. Witness greatness, look up in LeBron home. Remember next time before you doubt us. That only made me go.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays presented by Arby's.
Hell yeah!
This week, Arby's has an important PSA for everybody to hear. Even you guys in Columbus, Ohio, AJ. Oh, he's muted. People are lying out here. They are clowning around when it comes.
Muted? Okay, I'm not good. Continue. I'm sorry.
Why were you muted, you think?
I don't know. You talk to Zeke, right? Or
Nick.
Eddie.
Yeah, it's Nick.
This guy. No wonder you're muted, dude.
Why'd you? Oh, because of what he just said.
Sick of his shit.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you do what you got to do, but back to the PSA that does matter.
Yeah.
Even you stooges in Columbus, Ohio need to hear this. People are lying out here. They're clowning around when it comes to rib sandwiches.
Oh.
At Arby's, you don't have to worry about getting a restructured patty into the shape of a rib.
Okay.
No. At Arby's, you feast on their new, real, country-style rib sandwich. Smoked low and slow for at least 8 hours. Smoked over real hickory wood at a smokehouse in East Texas.
Whoa, Texas?
Yeah, down there in East Texas.
Okay.
They're smoked low and slow for at least 8 hours down there in a smokehouse in East Texas.
Let's go.
The real country-style rib sandwich is whole muscle meat, and it is absolutely delicious. Hold yourself to a higher standard and go get yours today. Tweet us a picture of you eating yours or you with yours with the hashtag PMS Pork Rib, and you can win. Maybe some Arby's gift cards.
What?
Maybe some Arby's meat suits.
What?
Maybe some Arby's happiness.
What?
You get it. Hashtag PMS Pork Ribs. And whenever we say this, we mean this. We tried it yesterday.
Yes.
I posted on my Instagram story without knowing that Instagram was done. It ended up actually getting posted 4 or 5 hours later. And I had a bunch of people saying, what is that? That looks delicious. What is it? I'm like, no, this is not just looking delicious. It tasted fantastic. Arby's gets a lot of heat by people that never ate at Arby's, I don't think.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes some of their sandwiches have looked like shit in a photo or something like that. You're going to deal with that in a sandwich game. But these country-style pork rib sandwiches, unfucking believable.
You shouldn't be able to get slow-cooked ribs from a place like Arby's that's that good. You shouldn't be able to do it. Here we are.
A lot of people asking, like, did the Arby's country-style rib sandwich make you blow the bottom out of a toilet? Nope. It did not.
No, it didn't.
It did not. It tasted fantastic.
Yeah.
Go get yours today. I believe this was an answer to a potential other company having a rib type sandwich.
Yeah.
And then Arby's, we have the meats, the actual meats, 45 different types of meats or whatever the number is. And we have sandwiches. We want to make an actual one. Let's get down to East Texas and sample out all these ribs.
They did
Yeah.
good.
Hell yeah.
They did good.
They did good.
They did good,
Unbelievable.
actually. Did you get one yesterday? They sent some to the office. Did you get one?
No, they didn't send them to my office, so no. I'll go out and get it myself. I like to pay for it. I don't need it free.
That's very nice of you. I mean, we definitely had to pay for it, and we only DoorDashed it. It did show up at the house. They did not send it. I guess technically an Arby's at some point did send it, but we did try it.
Yeah, it's delicious.
It was very good. The mayo, really.
Oh, yeah. Brought it home.
Oh, those crispy onion strings on top, slathered in BBQ sauce.
What?
I need another.
Let's go to the 5-hour energy phone line. Let's go to Zach down there in Jacksonville. Zach, everything's going great down in Duval, huh? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, man, it's going great. Everything's going good. Everybody's just hanging out. But I was wondering how many times you think Urban's going to go for 2 this weekend.
Oh! Jacksonville. Let's go to Andy in New York City. What's going on, Andy? That guy was good.
Hey, what's up, Pat and the boys? Love the show. I have a question about helmets, which is a weird question if you think about it. But Aaron Rodgers wears this super round helmet. Brady wears one with all these divots and stuff. How important is that to a player?
Great question, Andy. That's the evolution of helmets. We'll let AJ Hawk talk about it. Some players, you even saw this with Antonio Brown, they tried to get him to evolve and get a new helmet that was certified and legitimized by the NFLPA in the NFL, and players do not want to do it. The helmet is something that obviously a lot of football players hold in high regard. Any changes or advancements in science by some people can be met with a lot of I ain't changing, but some guys have evolved and put on the space helmets when there was different variations of it and found their new home. But the helmet is something that's sacred to a lot of players.
It's a personal preference on what I guess fits your head the best, what feels the best. These new space age helmets are terrible. All of them, they look awful.
See,
too.
here's
This
a guy.
extended jaw pad thing. Your straps, I believe me, at my 8-year-old's football practice, I'm strapping kids buckles all day because they can't get to it because these stupid long jaw pads they have. Yeah, they have a zipper deal too, some of them, but all the dimples, all the different things, they're supposed to dissipate impact when you hit somebody. The science is still out in my eyes.
Oh! This is an old school helmet by Aaron Rodgers, who still uses the single snap strap like Brett Favre, and he also takes it off between every single play. It's absolutely a throwback situation. But I'm surprised he's still able to wear that helmet, to be honest, because there was.
Is that from this year? Because he did have. I know he's had to change.
No, that might be old.
What, that helmet?
That photo.
Yeah.
It's from an old photo package we have back here.
Oh.
We need a current one because he did have to get. It's not like it still is. He has a good one for the garbage ones you have to pick from.
Got you. From a look side or from in your eyes?
From looks. I don't care about the feel. I don't know anything about the inside of it, but the looks just in general. But they're super light too, I guess, which should help. I feel like the other way. I loved having a super heavy helmet. I had an old school helmet. They made me switch out of eventually, but this thing is like 40 pounds.
Do you have one at the house now?
Oh yeah, I have multiple at the house.
And you used it as a weapon, obviously. That is your style of football
No,
that they are trying
myself.
to outlaw from the game.
Protecting myself. What do you mean?
Well, you're protecting yourself by using your head that is impenetrable, and science has proven that you might have the strongest structured face in the history of faces, and you use the 40-pound helmet as a weapon, which is exactly what Roger Goodell wants to get the fuck out of the game. You are the reason James Harrison got fined millions of dollars because of you, AJ Hawk.
Yeah. No, nothing to do with me. There's a lot of people that throw their head around a lot better than I did. I prefer the older helmets with the high straps and everything. Just much more comfortable for me.
I right now I'm seeing, because we've been watching throwback AJ Hawk videos. You know, they've been showing up on NFL Network because they're showing some old Green Bay Packers. Your helmet was awesome. I mean, just classic. It's not as old school as the single one in the middle where guys used to go back. I remember the old school Pittsburgh Steelers used to have like the big plastic almost. It was almost like a plastic face mask, which I don't know how that was legal at any point, but it looked awesome. Yours, old school throwback CT City helmet.
He is the Rydell Triple T.
Hey, Mitt has something to say. Mitt worked there it is. Look at that.
EQ nerd in me is coming out here.
That's equipment manager. He was an equipment manager throughout his entire life, by the way. Ball boy as a kid. His dad's a coach.
Aaron's it's an Air XP. That has a 5-star rating. That's a newer-ish helmet. That's completely fine. It looks kind of old, but that's not the same bucket that AJ is wearing in the other picture. That is much newer.
Yeah,
5 stars.
I had to switch to that. I had to go to that helmet. I'm pretty sure.
You definitely did.
Yeah, because they had that was a big deal. I remember them coming through everybody's training camp and saying, like, these are the new ratings of helmets. You're only allowed to use these helmets. And a lot of OG guys were like, nope, I ain't putting that shit on.
Yeah.
First of all, it looks sorry, just like AJ just said, because they are kind of spaceshipy at the beginning. I don't know what they're like now. If this is what they are now, they've gone back to that. But those first models were very large. I mean,
the Revolution. Remember when the Revolution came into play? Like in college, for me, those things were gigantic.
Welker was wearing it.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, Welker looked like he was a bobblehead.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it because they had ear pads, but at the bottom there was no pads. So you were able to just slide right up and you didn't have to have the ear thing, you know, the helmet, the ear thing, where your ears just get fucking tossed around. Yeah. Like, am I going to get cauliflower ear if I put this helmet on too many times? I'm not 100% sure. Those big space buckets that Revolution came through, they had this simple slide. I love that thing. It was so big, though.
When Peyton changed his helmet, he looked awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was... They set him up. They did him dirty. But.
Yeah. Tom was another player that really did not want to switch helmets when AB was going through it too, and then
Antonio Brown was going to retire there.
Yeah,
he said, "I retire."
I get it, man.
Got to protect.
I mean, wouldn't retire for it, but I understand wanting to go with what you've been wearing for 25 years.
Yeah.
Which helmet did you feel like that helmet was the best one for when you led with the crown of your face every single time you hit?
That's a good one there. I like that throwback. That face mask felt nice and strong. That helmet was very heavy.
And you like whenever it's just bolted in at the top there, huh?
Yeah, because if it's buckled, you're always messing with it because when you hit people, it's going to come unbuttoned and all that stuff.
And you didn't like to hit people with your head at all, so that probably didn't happen.
People were hitting me from the side, hit me in the temple, like crack blocks and, down blocks.
You were protecting yourself.
Of course.
Product of your environment. You got to do what you
Cobra
got to do. Everybody's trying to hurt each other out there, but the helmet is sacred. Let's go to Josh in Rochester. What's going on in the Rock, pal, huh?
God, not much at all. Pretty boring city, but I got a question about my Buffalo Bills. Blew out the Texans last week, but we have an actual NFL team next week.
Oh.
Do you think that builds our confidence, or do you think it gives us like a false sense of confidence?
Josh, great question. I think at this point, with Josh Allen being at a max contract and that team being a little bit more mature, I'm not sure that they're celebrating any victory too much, even though they beat the fucking brakes off of an NFL team. Even though you don't think the Texans are an actual NFL team, they are filled with professional players. They're missing half their salary cap, obviously, at a pretty important position because things are going off there. Buffalo Bills, nameless, faceless opponents, they are balling right now. I would not be worried about overhype or not. I'd continue to ride that train if I was a Bills Mafia member.
I mean, you can't build like fake self-confidence when you shut an NFL team out. It's very difficult to shut them out. To pitch a shutout in the NFL is so hard. Usually something squeaks by. So no, I think it's the confidence they should run with that. And they should feel good about it. And Josh Allen he's really starting to sling it these last 2 games too.
Unbelievable.
Also, don't they play the Chiefs on Sunday night? Like, I mean, they're going to be ready to go.
It's going to be a big game. You're not able to overlook that. I mean,
Does Sunday night get all the best games?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Well, I think NBC's deal, because they only got 1 game for the amount that they pay, and I think they're able to flex, so that's another thing that they negotiated in there. And I think Monday night's getting an opportunity to potentially flex in this next deal. I'm not 100% sure, but you're right. It does feel like Thursday night, even though this week is a big one.
Yeah, here we go.
This one's a big one. Cardinals, Hawks?
Rams.
Rams, Hawks.
Yep.
Rams, Hawks. That should be an incredible Thursday night game. Sunday night, Chiefs, Bills. I don't know what Monday night, Ravens, Colts, Monday night, I think. So some good primetime games. I'm excited to see this Bills and Chiefs team go, especially after what the Chiefs did to Coach Sirianni and the Eagles, and then obviously what the Bills were able to do to the Texans. Both teams are hot. Both teams are playing great football. Both teams are going to matter at the end of the season, and I'm excited to get a little, a check-in in Week 5 to see how they're both doing.
What do you think of the Bills? Like, do you think are they as good as coming into the season? People had very high expectations. I still think, they're going to be awesome. I think the cool thing is that they're just going to get better and better as the season goes. But I feel like not a whole lot of people are talking about it for some reason.
Well, just like the Packers and our guest joining us on the other side of the 6-minute break that starts in about 30 seconds, Aaron Rodgers, they had a bad first game, and then they've been great, right? Yeah. Bills had a bad first game, and then they've been great. So I think a lot of people maybe aren't talking about it or recognizing it yet, but whenever they're 10-1, 10-2.
When it matters. They'll mention them. Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of mentioning them, I don't know if you've mentioned this yet, but it's Aaron Rodgers Tuesday.
Hell yeah!
And that begins in hour 3, which is on the other side of this 6-minute break. We will see you then. Every Tuesday this football season, joining us, Aaron Rodgers. Every Tuesday. With that doesn't get you going for a game? Are you kidding me?
No, but I have a funny Creed story. So, in 2007, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday night. We're both 10-1. I have long hair, and I'm a backup. And before the game, we walked down the field, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but our intro song was Creed with Arms Wide Open. I looked to my buddy Nate Weir, and we both said, this is going to be a good night. And that was the night I came in off the bench and changed the narrative about me from, possible draft bust to, hey, this guy might be able to play, maybe.
Thank you, Creed. Yeah!
Why am I having so much fun?
Bingo.
I have just a new and increased love of life. And I've made decisions and changes and habits that put me in a lot better headspace. And there's just a lot of things that have come together in my life over the last few months. And it starts with love. And then surround yourself with people that you really enjoy. To get sentimental, this show is just another step in that.
What is the longest you've ever thrown? Do you even know that number, or do you not care?
Yeah, somewhere between 68 and 70, Pat. I don't know, right in that sweet spot.
69 yards is how far you threw it. Nice, congrats.
I sometimes laugh when people talk about, down years for me, because a lot of times down years for me are career years for most quarterbacks.
That was awesome! You said in the interview that you would add an extra finger to your scotch drink or whatever.
It was a long night. We didn't get home. I didn't get home till like 11:40.
Look at how much scotch that is. Is that what you did?
It's not that much.
That's 4 fingers, dude. You said you normally do 3. That's 4 right there.
But you have those fat sausages.
Why is football the greatest sport on earth?
One main reason. It is a true team sport. The love is not just about our sport. It's about competition. And I think there's nothing in the world for me that fills that need and that hole I have like competition. Yeah, they wouldn't show it because I play for the Packers, but I had a pretty sweet no-looker to Devontae on the last drive that kind of set up for a few plays.
I'm so thankful Patrick Mahomes brought that into the NFL.
I know.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Good for him.
Yeah, I know. It's just none of us been doing it for a while. A guy who probably doesn't get anywhere near the credit for doing shit like that all the time. He wears number 9 and plays in Detroit.
There's a massive water pipe out there with vitamins, and I've been going pretty ham at that. Maybe that is the problem.
Hey guys, it's a plant, bro.
That's all it is.
That's it. A couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We know. We know. We don't like that.
Swag is just like clothes I wear, or whatever. No. A swag is a mentality. Swag is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset. A lot of you guys are just posers. I am very thankful for you guys, for this show, for the opportunity to have this Tuesday. I'm not going to say that it's the reason why we've played so well and I've had a good season, but I can definitely say that it's been a positive contributor the entire year, and I do have a lot of thanks and gratitude for that.
Aaron, thank you, Aaron. Don't you thank us. Thank you, Aaron. Okay, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you on here. I feel like I've learned so much about not only you, but life and football. Do you have any hilarious interactions with fans? Anybody ever say something just absolutely despicable to you?
There's been a bunch over the years. I think the rowdiest and the biggest trash talkers and the funniest trash talkers are in Philly.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You know, one of my idols growing up was Alex Trebek. They're doing some guest hosting spots, and it's going to be released here pretty soon, but I have the opportunity to do one of those.
Let's go! I am so thankful you joined us, man. The mustache looks incredible, and the fact you're wearing that shirt, I am eternally grateful for, pal.
Well, yeah, we might as well drop some bombs on this show. You know? There's no scrubs out there.
Have you watched the film on the game yet? Will you watch the film?
Yeah, I think like 4:20 on Saturday, probably p.m. Central Time.
Were you at all surprised to see the wild speculation out there after your post-game comments?
I don't feel like I said anything that I hadn't said before. It was more a realization, I think. Ultimately, my future is not necessarily in my control. Now, obviously, after the season that I had and, potentially win an MVP, we obviously made it another good run. I don't think that there's any reason why I wouldn't be back. I don't think people are used to hearing the truth from athletes. So when they hear the truth, it's so surprising at times. That's why this show, I think, has been so different. There's times where you let your mind go to maybe, I'm going to be a Packer for life. I'm going to be like a Tim Duncan or a Jeter or a Kobe and play with one team my entire career. I think naturally you dream about that.
I think I've realized this year with the conversations, you do seem to be a rather normal human.
And you guys know, we've talked about this off air, but there wasn't like some agenda doing this. It was like, fucking talk to Pat and AJ every week? Yeah. Sounds pretty awesome. But what it's allowed me to do is, I think, silence all the douchebags out there who were, talking for me.
You know what? I'll say it. What? Aaron Rodgers Tuesday is happening.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Hour 3 on this Aaron Rodgers Tuesday, October 5th, 2021, years after zero. We'll begin right now. Shout to Twine for that beat drop. I love to hear it every single time, right on time. AJ Hawk is joining us from his attic in Columbus, Ohio, the home of Urban Meyer's Pint House, Whiskey Bar, and Chop House, which we heard a lot about, obviously, the last couple of days, and who knows what's going to happen down there. But AJ joins us, 3-4 times a week from his attic, and I believe this Friday
I will be in Indy hosting with you. You're going to be in where? San Jose?
So I'll be in San Jose.
What?
AJ Hawk will be at a different desk. I've decided.
Okay.
That makes sense.
I just decided.
Good.
Smart.
Good.
Yeah, we'll get you a different desk. It'll sit right here. Okay, it'll be right over here. All right, that's what we'll do. Just so, we got some good feng shui going around here. Added booyaka.
That's right.
Yep. Rey Mysterio mask, actually gifted from Rey Mysterio to the desk.
No way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He's going to Raw, though. So.
No.
Miss you, Ray.
See you once
Miss you, Ray.
I'll see you once a month, man. I fucking love Ray Mysterio. He's one of the coolest dudes of all time. Hammer Don host Tone Diggs is here. The Toxic Table is here. Bubba Gumpino, Foxy, Zito, Nick in the back. And it's about to be time that, for a conversation to happen that I look forward to all week, AJ. I mean, this is something I literally look forward to. I wake up on Tuesday mornings and I think to myself, what a fucking joke that I get to have the conversation that I'm about to have this afternoon with a man who's the reigning MVP of the NFL. Fresh off of a win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Woo.
Hell yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
Hey, buddy.
Hey, why'd you shave? What are we doing? Why'd you shave? Does that have something to do with the costume or everybody? It was kind of a conversation piece there early on Sunday.
Just mixing it up, man. Just whenever the grays get a little too overpowering, I think, hey, let me just cut them back.
Yeah, I got that down here at the bottom. That means we're distinguished, you know what I mean? I think that means that we're distinguished, but also you look baby-faced right now all of a sudden with this shave. Fresh off a big win over the Steelers, wearing a power lift shirt, because you like to get under the bar and squat around. How do you feel going into week 5? How's the body feel? How's the mind feel?
Yeah, body and mind feel good. I like where our team's at. We've played a couple of really good defenses back-to-back. Scored 30 and scored 27. 2 wins, without David Bakhtiari, without Elton Jenkins, Jair getting hurt, no Zadarius Smith. I feel pretty good about our team right now.
Yeah, as you should. Go ahead, AJ.
Hey, what about though? During that game, you were openly flirting with Mike Tomlin from the field. You weren't really focused in the moment, but I'll give you a pass for that. What was that about? And did you guys get to talk after the game?
I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan. I have been for a long time. I like the way that he speaks about his team. I like the way that he goes about his business. I like his confidence. I've heard nothing but good things from guys that have played there. I like Mike Tomlin. And I also liked it. He called that timeout. We tried to catch him with 12 on the field. He was kind of smirking about it. I like that, man. I respect that.
A little gamesmanship there, because I think he had to sprint, by the way, to the ref. So I think he had to sprint down there and get it. You obviously realizing it was him that called the timeout. I think Matt Patricia has told us the story of staring you down, trying to see who would make a move first whenever he was at Detroit and he was running the defenses. Is there any other coaches that you've had those types of moments where they understand and you understand that this is open Sicilian, this is closed Sicilian, this is chess right now? Is there any other moments other than just the Tomlin one that we saw?
There's been some back and forth with guys over the years, mostly guys that I don't really like. One guy that I do like, Rod Marinelli. He is, he's been in the league forever. And I believe his daughter is married to our defensive coordinator. I think that's the whole connection there. But Rod, he would flip me off from time to time on the field, and I'd flip him off right back. We had some fun back and forths, but I'm a big Rod Marinelli fan, and I loved, some of the comments that would come my way from him. Competitive guy for sure, super competitive, but a good human, I think, at his core.
Well, I don't know if whenever you and Rod Marinelli were telling each other to fuck off, the exact same conversations were happening after you and Tomlin had your moment, because that continued to feed the flames of Aaron Rodgers going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Pittsburgh would vote you mayor of Pittsburgh right now if you wanted to be the mayor of Pittsburgh right now. So much so that we even got a message from a prominent Pittsburgher who we wanted to share with you, Aaron Rodgers.
Hey, Rodgers. Yeah, I seen you was giving love to Pittsburgh last week, but I figured out your angle. You get the whole time to lower its guard, butter it in us up, and then bam, you slice through our defense like it's a hot Permani sandwich. The next time, go a little easier on us. You put us down like that dog at the end of Marley and Me. And if you do want to come to Pittsburgh, we got a lot to offer. For example, we put fries on everything. They'll even put them in your Blizzard down at Dairy Queen's. And secondly, you're never more than 2 minutes away from cell phone repair or a vape shop that used to be a Pizza Hut.
True.
You like Jeopardy, right? The Steelers can offer this to Aaron Rodgers in terms of pass protection. What is a wet paper towel? Louise. Sorry, who is Jeez Louise? And what has Green Bay got that's so special anyhows? Cheese. We'll get you a Lunchable when you get here. Them got cheese in them. And hey, AJ Hawk, That name sound made up. What are you, some kind of G.I. Joe? Were your parents a couple of military helicopters? Bottom line, Aaron, you ever in town, we'll take you out for a beer. Hey, maybe we'll take you over to McAfee's old stomping grounds near the Golden Mile Highway. McAfee used to live over there in Plum. More like Prune. That's all old people are here now. And finally, to show our respects, I'm adding an authentic Aaron Rodgers action figure to the game room collection. Look at that. Yeah, I got it from a guy down at the flea market who also sells gyros. I look like Jesus if he was in the WWF. And I don't know why he ain't wearing pants. Is that some kind of weird thing all you people from California do? Or...
Anyways, things like this, because you and Tomlin flirt, and then you complimenting Pittsburgh. And I think this is going to happen all year, no matter what you say. And shout out to Pittsburgh Dad, by the way. Shout out. Shout out
Pittsburgh Dad. He's the best. We used to watch that. Yeah, I've been around Pittsburgh people most of my football career. And Alex Van Pelt, also from Pittsburgh, played at Pitt. He got me onto Pittsburgh Dad, and we used to watch those videos, and those are unbelievable. And, you know, you talk to the coaches who've been around Pittsburgh for a long time, and they're also big fans of Pittsburgh Dad as well. They say that's, you know, the accent's dead on, the stuff he talks about, John Eagle, you know, and the, you know, when he goes to the water park downtown, they're closing the ride. Is it Dolly? What is it called?
Sandcastle? Are you talking about Sandcastle?
No.
Kennywood?
He's riding some wooden,
the moss.
Water
jammer.
ride.
No, that's a Kennywood, though.
Yeah.
Whatever the fucking case.
Kennywood.
He's
Kennywood.
great. Yeah.
Kennywood.
Yeah.
It was Kennywood.
It's not closed, by the way. Kennywood's still open, Aaron. Jesus.
Kennywood's open?
Yeah, Kennywood's open. It means your fly's down as well around Pittsburgh. But Kennywood is still open. The potato patch still exists. We love Pittsburgh, Dad. But these conversations are going to happen about you, right? After what happened this past offseason and with how the season's going to go. And after reading some excerpts of Ram Doss's Be Here Nah, you know what I mean? You got to be, because no matter where we go in the future, we'll always be where? Right here will always be. Is that how you deal with potential outside distractions? Because that's going to get loud. I mean, in Pittsburgh, it was headline news in the night and in the morning that you were potentially going to be a Steeler. Pittsburgh Dad, obviously, all worked up. All of Pittsburgh's worked up, especially after the Tomlin thing. That's probably going to happen a couple times this year. Do you ever think about that? Or is it, Ram Doss, be here in a moment right now. Let's win as much as we can.
It's that, and then you pair it with the book from this week, which I won't tell you, but look, I'm just speaking the truth. They asked me a question about Mike Tomlin. I'm going to tell them how I feel about Mike Tomlin. If you want to take that and run with it and say I'm, angling for some sort of next team or something, I'm not. I'm just answering a question about my respect for Mike and what he's accomplished in the league. And same for, I talked about Ben. A lot of respect for everything he's accomplished over the years. And, yeah, I mean, there might be other, stories similar to this, but I mean, there was, I guess, the last 2 weeks, Niners, there was conversation, obviously an icy handshake kind of between Kyle and Matt, and they obviously had a conversation around draft day, and there was rumors about that, and then I say something nice about Mike. I mean, I think Cincinnati's pretty safe because, they got a good young quarterback, and I don't think they're really interested in that, in the old bull. They got the young calf right now. They don't want the old bull,
Sees my sweat down to my, when she wants to take a ride. Go ahead, AJ.
I got two-parter here. You mentioned earlier you had some good interactions with coaches you like. You don't have to name names, but what kind of interaction do you have with coaches when you guys don't get along or there's some animosity? And also, you said they just asked you a question about Mike Tomlin. Let's say a media member asks you about a coach or somebody that you don't really like. How do you answer that?
Bad boy, AJ. Thank you.
It'd probably be a short answer. Probably wouldn't be an expansion. I wouldn't talk about, the laud their, many achievements in the league. I might just kind of skip right over that or angle it to, another part of the question I feel like I can divert my answer to. But I think that's part of question asking. Even when, you ask me some shitty questions or, Ty does. I can't put Ty in this category, but if Pat asks me something I don't really want to answer, or if Connor I might, take some part of that and then just angle it a little bit to a different response. There's an art to saying a lot without saying a whole bunch. And I think that's where the realm you have to live in. If you're trying to be honest all the time and not cliche, you not have cliches all over your responses, then sometimes there's a question you can't really expand on. You got to kind of adjust your answer slightly.
Roger Goodell, greatest in the history at speaking without saying anything. Best ever. I mean, honestly, best ever. Every politician is dreaming of being able to not answer questions while giving detailed answers like Roger Goodell. It is one of the most impressive things I've ever seen in my entire life. Aaron, can we dive into my notes section from the game, please?
Yeah, let's do it.
First one. Why the fuck did I miss the first quarter and a half of the Packers and the Steelers because CBS was playing the Jets-Titans game? Did you know this was happening? Did you decide to save the greatness until we could all watch this thing? Did you hear about this?
I saw it, I think on Ty, maybe Ty had put out a tweet about it, so I think I saw that. I didn't, obviously wasn't aware of that during the first quarter, so I apologize about that for all you who missed the first quarter. It wasn't that eventful, to be honest.
Yeah, anything? Nothing. Ben threw a touchdown, I seen. Yeah. That was a highlight. Did anything else happen? Were you guys finding a groove or no?
No, we had a miscommunication sack on our first third down, and then we punted, and we got the ball back and went down and got 7 at the beginning of the second quarter, which I'm
miscommunication
guessing.
with who?
Yeah.
Who's the miscommunication?
LaFleur, Gunther,
Mark Murphy?
Guys, I'm just here today to talk about power lift.
Hey, that was good diversion. Hey, that was really good what you just did right there.
You know, I'm thankful for the rack that they sent. They're just incredible company that makes some incredible products, and I'm just here repping them out of love. You know, not getting paid for this. It's all love.
That's good communication. I mean, they kind of paid you. They sent you a rack, so depending upon what that it costs. But no, we understand what you're saying there. Yeah. How do you know who's coming and who isn't on these exotic amoeba-like defensive fronts? Because Devin Bush got you on one, I think, and maybe this is the communication area you're referring to, and then it seemed to never happen again. How do you know? Is that all film study? Is that instinct? Is that feel? Is that giveaway? And if this is competitive advantage, feel free to tell me to go fuck myself and tell me about powerlift again.
GFY. So what I love about powerlift is together a product.
That's awesome.
No, it's about percentages, Pat. I mean, I think a lot of protection and decision making is choosing the highest percentage success probability. So when it comes to protection, when you're playing a team that brings a lot of exotic pressures, you have to rely on where your eyes go at the snap and where your best hot option is or adjustment to the route called is. So, you know, the one time they got us in the first drive, I thought we were adjusting the protection to Devin, and the communication obviously wasn't where it should be, and he came, scot-free and sacked me. That didn't happen again. We had another time later in the game there in base, and we had a 7-step job, an old school West Coast route called X-Shell Across, and they had a 5 down front, so we were in a 5-on-5 protection. They brought Devin again. The back, that's the backs guy. You know, in a 5-0 protection, the back has everybody else, basically.
Of course.
So we, AJ, kind of missed that one, I guess, a little bit, and Devin got to me, but I was able to get the ball out quickly. But other than that, I thought the protection was really good.
Okay. Well, last question here from my, things here. Huge game for Cobb. Huge game for Cobb. Is that you guys just kind of getting back into the flow of things? Is that specific game plan? Or is this what we should potentially be looking forward to for the rest of the season with you and Cobb being back on the same page? I mean, massive third down pickups, a couple touchdowns. Seemed like you two were on a string in a couple different situations. There's stories coming out, obviously, about the Cobb selection and coming back to the team. This was something you looked for and you were hoping for. How come? Was this a big breakout game for Cobb this season, or is it just kind of the way the game unfolded?
I think it was a perfect storm in some respects, because with Marquez getting injured, that left us with, Devontae, Allen, and Randall starting the game in 11 personnel. Randall, I saw, had an average of 16 snaps a game the first 3 weeks, which is just not enough for a guy who can really contribute. I know we're trying to, get him to the finish line. He's had some injuries the last couple of years, but he looks really healthy. He's been practicing really, really well, and I was hoping that he was going to get more opportunities because of Marquez's injury. This gave him a natural opportunity to play more snaps. And then the defensive plan for Pittsburgh was to not really leave Devontae one-on-one at any cost. Now, there were a couple times they did, and I think both those times I probably threw him the ball. We had an early go ball that I threw a semi-back shoulder to him, and then we had, third down late in the game where they played some weak 3-week coverage, and I threw him a 10-yard stop route to get a first down. So, other than that, they wanted to take him out of the game and not let him beat us because he'd been averaging 12 or 13 targets per game. I think more. I think he had 18 targets last week against the Niners. So they knew, as anybody does who watches us on film, 17 is going to get a lot of looks. So because of that, because of Marquez's injuries, Cobby had a lot more opportunities. When we get more opportunities, I think the production is going to be there like it was a couple of days ago.
I don't know if you watched the Bucs-Patriots game on Sunday night, but Collinsworth was mentioned multiple times. Belichick's he's mixing it up with the line. He's not showing Tom like the same thing twice pre-snap. All this, and what can defenses do? I guess to try to confuse her. Oh, you've seen everything. That's what's like the old cliche to say about vet quarterbacks. But what can they really do? I guess to confuse you that they don't try every other week.
Well, it just depends. I mean, it depends on the approach and what they want to do. Some teams haven't really pressured us a whole lot. I mean, the first 3 weeks, not a lot of pressure from any of those teams. And then a couple of days ago, a lot of pressure. Pittsburgh, brought pressure consistently, not just 5-man pressure. There's a difference between, also the terminology too. A lot of people talk about, or in the breakdown, 5-man pressure is a pressure. I don't really consider a 5-man pressure at a base of pressure. It's just, it goes, when you categorize it with the film breakdown, it'll say, Sam at D or Will at 3, depending on, if they're an over front or an under front, a 3 down front. But to me, pressure is second level pressure. It's bringing a linebacker, bringing a nickel, bringing a safety. And we just haven't seen that a whole lot the last few years. But Pittsburgh, brought the nickel many times. They brought Bush a few times. They brought a safety. So they brought some pressures. I think the thing you got to remember that we always do is, or we try to remind ourselves is, when they do a breakdown, a 4 or 5 game breakdown going into each game, there'll be a lot of percentages in every single category. I'm talking about first, second, third down, the distances, get back on track stuff, backed up, high red zone, low red zone. And I always say you kind of have to throw out the numbers a little bit when you're playing veteran quarterbacks because a team might come in like the Saints and average, close to 50% pressure over the last 3 or 4 games, and then pressure us 2 or 3 times the entire game. Our team might come in averaging 15% pressure and just say, for whatever reason, we are going to play man and bring 5-man pressure the entire game, and the stats will be totally skewed. So it really comes down to defensive coordinators who don't just run their stuff, who really tailor their plan specifically to who they're playing and what they're trying to take away. This is the Bill Belichick philosophy that him and his disciples have kind of passed around the league for a while. Those teams will definitely not play to kind of their tendencies as much as other teams.
So the Steelers, Mike Tomlin told us that Josh Allen expected a bunch of pressure probably that week 1, and he probably wished for it, so we chose not to. That was his actual answer to us in there. So I think Tomlin's a similar guy, especially against a quarterback that he has the utmost respect. And to your point, Zach Cruz actually tweeted this. I screenshotted it. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers dropped back to pass 40 times versus Steelers defensive pressure front. He was only under pressure 10 times. 77 dropbacks, only 15 under pressure the last 2 weeks with Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins out there. Is that because of how efficient the offense is? Is that because of audible? Is that because everybody being on the same page? Or is it just you guys are really rolling right now?
It's that, but it's also most teams that have fronts like those 2 teams we played, Pittsburgh and San Fran, they expect to get home with their front 4. And they do a lot, so they don't need a pressure. That's teams that don't have the same type of athletes on the outside will probably pressure a little bit more. But when you have San Fran, you can line up, Bosa and D Ford and Armstead. You're going to get pressure. Pittsburgh, when you can line up, TJ and Melvin and Cam, you're going to get pressure. So you don't necessarily need to bring those extra guys. Now they brought some slot pressures and some backers, more than maybe the numbers showed. But when you have a good front 4, the best defenses, as we've seen over the last couple decades, are teams that can get after you with your front 4 and drop 7 and play coverage.
TJ definitely tripped you, by the way.
No doubt.
How do you feel
but I was questioning myself actually a little bit because I step in the pocket to Cam got a good rush kind of off my left, and A.J. Dillon was running an angle route and was wide open for a touchdown. I mean, they stepped up to move away from Cam and to throw it to him. Right as I was about to throw it to him, I felt, getting tripped. And, it was one of those awful things. The only thing worse than getting tripped like that is getting stepped on, like trying to get out from center and then you're falling down. It looks really awful. It looks super unathletic. This one looks slightly more athletic, not much. But what got me was I got up and I immediately went to the Whitecap and was like, that's got to be a trip, right? And he was like, I don't know. I'm not sure. And so when he was hemming and hawing, he throws the penalty, and then I'm not sure if he's talking to New York or upstairs a replay. But the defensive guys start saying, now you tripped yourself. You tripped yourself. Joe Hayden was saying that. Sutton was saying that. Edmonds was saying that. And for a second, it started creeping in and go, maybe I did. Maybe I did trip myself. And then when he picked up the flag, they still hadn't shown the replay yet, on the Jumbotron. He picked the flag up, and I was thinking, man, is that what it's come to? I'm in my 17th year, and I'm tripping myself, believing that I actually got tripped. And it was a real low moment for me. A tough couple seconds kind of turning, walking back to the huddle. Then I heard the boos raining down, and I looked up, and I was like, okay.
Thank God. Thank God.
It was such a rush of just joy and relief that I wasn't that unathletic guy yet who trips himself and thinks somebody tripped him.
Let's talk about Whitecap real quick before AJ has another one. I apologize, AJ, for the back-to-back here, but I have a lot of interesting thoughts that I would like to hear from Aaron Rodgers. The refs. Okay, obviously your interaction there with the Whitecap, I don't know. He's saying, and maybe he's getting information in there, and you obviously can't say anything. Joey Bosa came out last night and actually said that a ref was blind, had to be blind. I have no idea how that happened. Said that publicly. He's going to get fined for that. You can't say that. You're the reigning MVP of the NFL. How do you think we fix the officiating thing? And is it a problem that needs to be fixed in your eyes, in your interactions with these refs?
I don't think so. I think it's a really tough job, first and foremost. I think it is a really tough job. I think we can help them, but we need more people in that conversation on what the best way to do it is. Right now there's a rules committee, right? And that's made up of owners, and then they give the recommendations down. And I think there maybe needs to be some more players involved. The biggest problem, in my opinion, I think most people can agree with this. If we think about some of the best refs from the last couple of decades, right? And I'm obviously slightly biased, but the majority of them are on TV, right? I'm talking about, Gene Senatore on TV, and Terry McAuley's on TV, and who's the guy from last night who's on the
John Perry.
John Perry, Dean Blandino, Mike Pereira. These are guys who are really, really, really talented referees, but they're getting paid more on TV than they would by the league. So we're hurting ourselves, I think, as a league by not having the best of the best who move on still be associated in a way where New York has to rule on some of these plays, and we're not going back to the best of the best. I think the last couple, guys that we've had in that position, we're not anywhere near as talented as the guys that I just mentioned. But the issue is TV's paying these guys a lot more than the league does. So if the league wants to clear things up, maybe taking these stud reps who have moved on and retired and putting them in a position of influence that can clean up some of the mistakes that are made. And it's not a lot of mistakes, but one or two in important times, that's when the conversation gets amped up and everybody's talking about this thing. I don't believe we have a referee problem. I love the fact that there is, the human element in it. But in ways that we can help them with those bang-bang calls and those important reviews, I think it's important that we have the best of the best in the booth making those, aiding with those decisions.
I think Gene Steratore offered more money and less stress. And same with Blandino, Pereira, John Perry. Hey, we'll double your income. And also, you don't have to worry about getting booed out of a fucking stadium anymore. You actually get cheered whenever you come on and say, these refs are wrong, actually. I don't know how you turn that. You're right. I don't know how they stop doing that. I would do it every single time. Sorry, AJ, go ahead.
Well, what can they do other than just raising their salary? I know Pat and I had talked about that earlier, I think last week. That, if you make the salary bigger, there's going to be a bigger pool that want to become officials. But would you do anything with technology or anything? Like, what could you add?
I mean, it's tough because you don't really want to go down the route of being able to adjust subjective calls. They tried to do a little bit with pass interference, and it became kind of a fiasco because it was like, what is the determining factor? How much contact is enough contact, or how much is not enough contact to either pick up a flag or throw a flag? It's tough with those some more subjective calls. There are objective calls, but still, I think the majority of the calls that happen in a game are subjective calls. They're, it's holding. What is holding? I think it can get into the subjective realm. Play to play. Interference, illegal contact. Block in the back. Some of these calls.
Taunting. God, this is the worst.
Yeah, I mean and that's coming from the rules committee that doesn't involve players having recommendations on that. It's the same thing when they changed all the off-season stuff, and you have these lawyers who wouldn't allow us to use a football for the first 2 weeks of camp, and it's like, who wrote this stuff? I mean, who is sitting there going, okay, first 2 weeks, no footballs. So we're at football practice, yeah, and we can't use a football, no. Okay, so then what do we do?
You act like you have a football.
Well, if we let you use a football, then people are going to abuse it, and everything has to be crystal clear in this disclosure agreement. Okay, cool, awesome. Okay, we're still playing football, though, right? Yeah. Well, you know what? If you're a kicker or punter, you can go over to a high school and actually use one of their fields, but we're not going to insure you injury-wise if you go over there and hurt yourself. Oh, it makes sense. Perfect sense. Yeah.
I remember thinking, so this place that has a net, security, equipment managers that can help me get better, I'm not allowed to kick here for 2 weeks. I have to go to a high school that has probably no net, not that I need security, but potential other people on the field and everything like that, because that benefits me. That's good for me? Yeah, it's good for all players. It's good for you, you're a player. That's good for you. Oh, okay. That makes fucking sense. All right, yeah. I'm not coming for the first 2 weeks. I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm gonna be somewhere else kicking balls, I guess. There's a lot of those. That's when the legalese get involved, when there's a human element involved. You know what I mean? And that's everything in this world, not just the NFL, by the way. We're dealing with that everywhere else that we go into business with. What's the worst thing that could potentially happen or has happened before that has potentially fucked somebody over in the past? Okay, well, that has to be a part of the contract now. Well, now you're also taking out like the day-to-day, hey, I'll do this because we have a good deal shit. It's a different time in the world, Aaron. You got to be here now, though. You got to be here now.
You're right, man. I'm so glad you read that book too. That's really meaningful to me. You're becoming such a reader.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is the first book I've ever heard of that is a fucking calendar, though. You know what I mean? Like, you got to turn this son bitch sideways.
It's a picture book, man. It's an easy read. You only have to read a few dense pages. Everything else is beautiful artwork.
Is that English? What is that?
Well, that's interesting because it is a couple of these, and I have enjoyed his writings, by the way. Shout out to Ram Dass. I have enjoyed the hell out of his writings. It's kind of like those 3D photos, where there's a bunch of things on it. You cross your eyes, and then like something pops up. A couple of these pages, you got to do that to find the words that are being hidden by like goats and donkeys and shit. So it has been a little bit of that. You know what I mean? You have to kind of close your eyes, but the messaging is amazing, and we'll get to the Aaron Rodgers book club here in a little bit. Still more conversation, obviously. Go ahead, Ty Schmidt.
Aaron, going back to your athleticism, I mean, you turned the Jets on and dusted T.J. Watt off the edge there for that touchdown. Thought you were going to get another one later in the game with Randall there. Are we looking at maybe a little more zone read option next week and for the rest of the season? And also, given your proclivity for Game of Thrones, have you seen the new trailer for the Targaryen prequel that's coming out?
Are you in it?
Yeah, and what episode will you be on it?
If I'm in it, I'll be in the penultimate episode. I'm kind of a penultimate guy.
Good words.
The Office, and Game of Thrones. I don't want to be in the last episode. No, second to last. Well, I will say this. I did hear this morning. I was very, very excited to hear that. They track us with these, speed trackers, right? And Coach Giz, strength coach, said that I had the highest acceleration.
Wow. No big deal.
I said, what was that, like 23 miles an hour? He said, well, it was about miles an hour, and you weren't that high in that. But the acceleration change was really good. I said, I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna share it with Pat and the boys. So
Explosive. You're explosive.
Really proud of that. Yeah. No, I would have loved to hit Randall on that one, but look, every now and then you run it in. The best part about the rushing touchdown that probably not many people would see or know was I ran in the end zone. I did a little ode to Jimmy Graham spike, and then a little tiny belt that nobody really saw. And Randall was on my right, and he kind of pointed at the stands, to take the Lambeau leap. And I said, that's way too high. that's too high. I can't do it. So my apologies to the front row there. It just wasn't the right game. I wasn't ready. I didn't. I got to wait till I'm back. Into power lift, getting 400 under the bar again. Once I'm back in those numbers, I'll be ready to.
Hey, I'm sick of hearing this. Okay, did I trip myself? He's saying I can't get up. I'm gonna look like Schefter doing the Lambeau leap. He's thinking after having what's that? What's that?
I never said that. I didn't mention it looking like a unathletic, weak chin, no ass.
Got him.
Hey, you said it.
Anyways, you need to stop dotting yourself. You're underneath that squat rack. You're all the way fucking back, dude. You didn't trip yourself. You're explosive. You're the most explosive guy on the field on Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's go, dude.
I think I shot my load there, getting out of the pocket. I didn't have a whole lot left.
It's very timely.
A whole lot left, man.
Speaking of shooting a load potentially too quickly, you don't have to speak about this, but it has been a topic of conversation.
Nice transition.
On this particular show. I mean, honestly, it was the first thing I thought of. Okay, if you had to talk about the differences between coaching in college and coaching in the NFL, would one of the biggest things not be when you're talking in the NFL, you're talking to your peers whenever it comes to football IQ, drive, being around, maturity, everything like that. It's much harder to potentially lie to an NFL locker room than maybe a college locker room that's a little bit younger, and also their entire futures are controlled by the person that's talking. Isn't communication like one of the biggest things a head coach is going to have if he makes his way into the NFL? And didn't we all think that going from college to NFL is going to be difficult if you try to treat people differently? Rumors out of Jacksonville, and this has nothing to do with you, but I think you can paint the overall picture about what an NFL locker room is, that Urban tried to, allegedly, this is sources, tried to lie about the situation basically, and the entire locker room laughed him out of meetings, allegedly. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, that is not the case. Would coaching in the NFL be vastly different than college because of that little thing that probably happens on a daily basis, that the people you're talking to are just grown-ass men? Is that not something that should be considered when you take a job in the NFL?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, good.
It definitely should be. I think one of the biggest differences is in college, you call your coaches coach. In the NFL, you call them by their name. Now, that might seem like a small detail to some, but it's not to those of us who played. And the understanding is there's not a fear. There's a fear in college that this person controls my ability to move on and play this game professionally. And in an instant, I can go from a first-round pick to an afterthought, and this person could trash me to any team calling. So there is a healthy fear. I never had that with Coach Tedford. I called him Coach, but I had a ton of respect for him. And the way that he brought it every single day and led, he treated us like men, and there wasn't this weird, I'm your superior authoritarian deal. It was, and it wasn't this rah-rah bullshit too that you see a lot coming out from a lot of it. It was very direct and relatable stuff, and that's why I think everybody that played for Coach really appreciated that. But in the NFL, it's Matt, and it's Nathaniel, and it's Luke, and it's some guys go by their last name, Steno and Butkus and Ben Sermons, and 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 Vrabel. You know, it's like you don't, you know, it's not coach this and that. So and it's not the disrespect. It's just that we are professionals. We are both getting paid professionally to do this. I'm getting paid and you're getting paid, and we're both going to respect each other and respect the roles. You're coaching, I'm playing, but there's a level of respect that's earned in the league, and it's earned through communication and honesty and work ethic and discipline, and that's not given freely. I think in college, this is just automatic. Like, I got to respect and fear my coach because, you know, he can make one, you know, sweep of his hand and I'm out of here. NFL, it's like, nah, you can't do that.
You're probably going to be gone before me, dog. And that's what I was talking about when we were talking about coming too quick. And I was talking about the potential Urban era.
Right.
And coming too quick. Obviously, that's great transition. But I appreciate that answer because I think that is something in this, I don't want to dive. This is not your team, obviously, so I'm putting you in a terrible spot. He was not on the team plane after a game. Like, I don't even understand how that even happens. They're going to have to figure that whole thing out. It's wild. Going to be tough to get the locker room back, I think. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Aaron, you posted a pretty sweet photo of you getting introduced on Sunday. How awesome was that to be able to go back out there with the fans in the stands after not having them for a year during introductions?
Yeah, man, there's really nothing like it. We have a lot of music playing now in the tunnel, and there's the smoke and the green lights, which is cool. The thing that I do miss a little bit, kind of being there for so long, is there's nothing like that initial first few steps, and I always like to be just a tad bit early. I think that being on the other side where you're waiting for the guys to come out, it's always kind of weird when they introduce the person and it's like a beat and a beat. Oh, and then they come running out. So I'm always like on the front end of that.
Smart.
But when you exit that tunnel and you hear the ovation, man, it's a special feeling. But the cool thing too is that I like doing low fives on the way through, and to see the guys' faces when I am running through and then immediately transition, you know, into the in the low fives through the lines is pretty fun. But there's nothing like that feeling when you get introduced, and miss that for sure. You know, being away from that for over a year.
Go ahead, Tone.
Aaron,
last question, by the way.
There was a moment pre-snap on Sunday where you and Arthur Mollett, number 35, he's the nickel. I believe you had to call a timeout, and then you guys were laughing after and talking. What happened there?
What did he didn't say anything like, wasn't he shit talking or anything. He was just, you know, sometimes the defense thinks that you're calling a timeout because of something that they did or some look or something. And most of the time it's, hey, maybe we didn't call a play in the huddle. We were just we were trying to waste some time, or maybe, you know, we had a late substitution and we didn't have a play, or maybe it's, maybe every now and then the defense, the look that we got isn't great for the play, or maybe somebody's missing a line, or it could be a number of things, but I don't know. I love the interactions. That's what's so special about the game. You know, just breaking the huddle and hearing the chatter and making eye contact with certain guys. I mean, I had one of the best of all time to interact with, you know, twice a year for a number of years, and Brian Urlacher, and I think that just he kind of scarred me because you compare everybody else to playing against him and the shit that he would say and how funny he was out there. But I do enjoy those interactions with the other guys. And it was, you know, I don't know if you said, you guys, you know, we were coming for you. Well, yeah, you caught a call timeout on that. And I don't know. It's just, okay, cool, man.
You were in their huddle at one point, I think during an injury. You were like in the defensive huddle almost, and they were zoomed in on your face, and you were just laughing and smiling. It looks like you're having the time of your life. And I want to let you know, I've been having a time in my life picking up on all these goddamn books. You know what I mean? As a kid, I never read a book. It was something I did not have an advanced reader level thing. I did not ever open the box of books I was given at West Virginia University whenever I was so fortunate to be on scholarship, and they would give me my books. I never even opened the tape. I would return it in its exact fashion. But ever since the Aaron Rodgers Book Club has started, I've been reading through all these great great books, from The Alchemist to Where Men Win Glory to The Giver to obviously Ram Dass's. This thing was awesome to read. Kind of put me in a nice mental state. And now it is time for one of the most anticipated things of the week for all of us insane book nerds. AJ Hawk and myself were trying to text last night to guess what this book's going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, the 5th installment, the 5th book of the Aaron Rodgers Book Club is marijuana.
The 4 Agreements.
Oh, I thought that was dope. Is that dope?
It's not dope, bro. It's the 4 Agreements. It's by Dahn Miguel Ruiz, and it's a staple for. Let me turn the light down here so you can see me a little better.
You do look good in there, by the way.
There we go.
It looks like that.
The 4 Agreements by Dahn Miguel Ruiz. It's a wisdom book. It's a simple read. It's 140 pages. You could easily read it in a week, Pat.
Of course.
But in this genre of self-help, it's a book that I think everybody can relate to. And there's 4 agreements, and this is not a spoiler alert because they're in the front. They're on the front flap. But it's be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. So very simple words of wisdom. But Dahn is a really good writer, and this book has been millions of copies have been read, and it's one that I always recommend for people. And they say, hey, I need a self-help book. What would you recommend? And I say, well, why don't you start with the 4 Agreements, because it can relate to just about any part of your life. And I think for me, in my own growth, the one that be impeccable with your word. I've always enjoyed, honesty, and that's such an important part of communication. But don't take anything personally is a great one that he talks about, and that's just the idea of being a victim or being sensitive about things said about you. And I think it's one that we all struggle with. I think that's the motivation for most comments on social media, that somebody has said something and then somebody takes it personally, and then they have to fire back. It's this constant back and forth between people. But the 4 Agreements, fantastic book. This has been, this is a lot of pressure to have to do 18 of these. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but I'm excited about it. I'm also excited how my books right here on the left side, I guess, just kind of intertwine with these over here with AJ.
yeah. And we're a big book show. This is a big book show. Aaron, I know you're feeling a lot of pressure because you only got 18 weeks, or that's a lot of weeks to pick out what the best book of the week is. And the 4 Agreements sounds like I already read it. You just kind of broke it down for me, but I will dive into it. Of course, we might have the biggest book club going. And by we, I mean you. Legitimately. We checked out records and everything like that for the people that have bought the Aaron Rodgers Book Club shirt at store.patmcafeeshow.com, where all money will go to a reading advocacy group or a foundation of Aaron Rodgers' choosing. The amount of shirts that we've sold in comparison to what the records are for book clubs, I think you potentially have something like maybe the biggest book club going right now. Dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, I feel good about it because, Oprah, I don't think she's doing maybe her book club the same. Obama has a lot of book recommendations I've seen over the years, but he's not president. So I feel like we are, we're the
premier.
We're the book club kind of out front right now.
Yeah, we're the premier book club.
I'm not sure who can rival us at this point, but I feel like
Andrew Cuomo might have one. He wrote a book too.
All right. Yeah. All right. Urban might as well, I guess.
That's Dick's guy. Sorry, Aaron. That's Dick's guy.
All right. Well, anyways, and look at the depth of the book club just in the first 4 weeks. You got The Alchemist, obviously about the universe. Of
course.
Right. Where Men Win Glory, just like an American hero story of Pat Tillman. Let alone The Giver. Hey, the old man. Oh, man, the kid. Oh, my God. And then Ram Dass, the calendar book.
Wow.
And now we got the 4 Agreements. I mean, let's go. Aaron, we can't thank you enough. I hope you had an incredible time. Can't wait to see what you go squat, maybe 400 today on the power lift. And we appreciate you, brother. Good luck this weekend.
Thanks, man. I love the tank top as always, man. Looking good.
Sleeveless hoodie, actually. You see that? I have a hood on this one. It's blue because it makes, my wife said, makes my eyes look better.
I feel bad, Pat. I did want to, bust something out real quick, but.
Wait, Bob Ritchie.
Come on! I was going to go back up.
Man,
I was lead guitarist last week.
Hey, it's a good sign because he's going to eventually play. He's doing that to prime himself. One of these days, he's actually going to play a song.
Hell yeah. I'm a little worried about his lack of confidence in his physical ability.
Yeah, what the hell's that?
And he needs to start fucking strumming the guitar and get back in the game. All right? He's imagine him actually, because everybody on the stairs, you tripped yourself, dude. You tripped yourself. And him just going, did I? And then the ref going, I don't know. And then they review it. They review it, and they're like, no, yeah, you did. Oh, should I retire right now? Oh my God. And then all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
I knew I was right.
Son of a bitch.
I knew I was right. Let's get to a break. We have to get to a break. That was awesome. Thank you all so much for your incredible questions and conversation and for listening. I mean, what an opportunity it is to talk to that fucking guy weekly.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole thing is great. I think he's enjoying it too, for sure.
We probably missed something. We apologize. We hope we gave you enough. We can't thank Aaron for his time enough. Got him to talk about... Try to slide into Urban Meyer.
Yeah, I had to.
I mean, you can't say anything, obviously, because it's a different team. We're back in 4 minutes, full reaction, and some more phone calls on the 5-Hour Energy phone line before we hand it over to Chris Mad Dog Russo with Mad Dog Unleashed on Sirius XM Channel 82. Mad Dog Sports Radio will continue with PMS After Hours at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. Smarter than you, I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm a better person than you are.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I fed the birds this morning, so I'm a better person than you are.
Yeah, but you don't care about, the ozone as much as I do. So do you even like to breathe? That means you don't even like the birds. You don't want the birds to be able to breathe or fly because you want the ozone to be ruined because you're a fucking asshole.
Is that right? Then how come I rollerblade to the supermarket every Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, did that make you feel good, rollerblading, flattening the earth a little bit closer to the center so it can get hotter so then the heat comes from the ozone because you're pressing down the earth with your little rollerblades?
Well, yeah, but
I'm a better person than you are.
No, because on Wednesdays I'm planting trees and I'm trying to bring the earth back to what it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're cutting up other trees' roots, though. What a fucking asshole. You Why can't you just let earth be the way it's be? You got to take your shovel and dig into it? Wow. I'm a better person than you are.
I know. I make my own manure. I make my own soil. I'm not chopping up any other roots.
So you don't like cows. You don't like cows pooping.
I
hate farmers. Unbelievable. You hate farmers. Oh, you don't like the head of cows. You don't like burgers?
Then how come I'm in the Farmers Association of America and I'm going to help?
Oh, you're a lifetime member of the FFA. Hey, that's right. That's what I make. I'm a better person than you are.
No, you're not. I'm a better person than you are.
That's politics, baby. That's what we just did right there. Let's get to the phones. Once again, I think we batted 1,000.
Boom.
In politics with what we just did right there.
How about that?
I do believe after that argument, though, people would say I was a better person than fucking you are, dude.
No, because everyone I just read on Twitter was like, oh my God, this guy rollerblades. I need to start doing that too.
No, that's because you mute all the other people that are actually on my side and they're telling you you're not the right person.
No, I refuse to mute anybody because I love everybody.
Oh, you're like freedom of speech. How come then you're not going to listen to everybody? Wow.
I do love freedom of speech. That's why I'm not muting anybody. What are you talking about? No, I'm better than you are.
Everybody's saying it.
No.
Yeah, everybody's saying I'm a better person than you are.
I heard it.
We just did, by the way, still batting 1,000 on politics. I feel so good about it. We even got into the reaction to the punditry.
Yes.
We're batting a fucking 1,000 out there.
Every side.
And people say we're not well-rounded. We don't have depth. Did you hear what we just fucking did?
Come on.
Wow. Let's go to the phones, man. What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
I can't believe we get to do what we just did every single week. It's absurd. SeatGeek has been great to us this football season, helping send Nick to the Steelers game.
What?
Hell yeah.
They lost. And assisting us with all the ticket giveaways we've done thus far. But maybe the best thing they've done is make all football tickets 15% off to all users. No code. Just click the link in the description of our YouTube video at youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show live right now. And the 15% off code will be auto-applied to your account. Doesn't matter if you purchased on SeatGeek before. We have no clue how long this offer is going to last, so let's continue to take advantage of it. Shout out to SeatGeek. Shout out to you for listening and watching. 15% off all football tickets. You're alive, but are you living? Go live and experience a game live with our friends at SeatGeek. AJ, I forgot to ask about you asking about the 420th touchdown ball being turned into a ball.
You're right. I have a feeling he may have seen that. He may have known that one was coming, so that's why I had to hold back.
Well, his answer then would have been good, you know, because
Yeah.
I fucked that one up. That was on me.
Maybe next week.
All right, maybe next week. Are you going to read that book or not? Have you read any of these books?
Yeah, I've read most of John Krakauer stuff.
Yeah, but Ram Dass is the most recent one, and then obviously the Four Agreements brought to you by
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah, of course, Don
Miguel Ruiz.
Mr. Ruiz is a fucking animal when it comes to words being put together, especially for the Four Agreements.
Oh yeah,
I mean the Four Agreements is a book that's already sold out.
Jeez,
what?
Yeah, we tried to buy it; it's sold out.
Flying off the shelves. Right
Yeah,
now.
I'm not sure if that's because of us announcing it or if it was potentially sold out before we announced it. But I think they're potentially missing out on some sales right now because they are out of stock. But this is wrapping up another beautiful Aaron Rodgers Tuesday before Chris Mad Dog Russo hits the airwaves here on Sirius XM Channel 82 Mad Dog Sports Radio. Chris Mad Dog Russo yesterday came out and said they want me to promote this this Tom Brady show. What did he say?
Yeah.
I'll promote it when Tom reaches out to me and says, welcome to the station. Thanks for having me on. Until then, I'm not doing it.
I fucking love this guy, Chris Mad Dog Russo. Said I'll promote the show whenever I get a hey, thanks for allowing me on the show, on your program, on your channel from Tom Brady. He said even McAfee did it. Yeah. I did, by the way. Tip of the cap. In return, he said a hilarious answer about us in an interview, and I appreciate that. Obviously, every time we get a chance to hand over the reins to a legend like Chris, it is obviously an honor and a privilege. AJ, anything to say to the SiriusXM listeners?
No, I think they hope we enjoyed Aaron today.
I hope they did too. The next show will be better than ours. We'll see you tomorrow. Cheers. That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah. Was that yesterday you said it?
Yeah, he said even McAfee.
Even McAfee did it. Everybody, 13 years now, has done it. When Tom does, I'll promote it. I'll promote the hell out of it.
I will. I'll push the shit.
So what does he have to say though? What do you have to say to him?
Tom just has to say thanks for let me on air or whatever. Let me on the
bend the knee, Tom.
Yeah, bend the knee, Tom. That's right.
Can I send a text or an email?
Yeah, and some people on the internet are saying maybe Chris should be thanking Tom. For potentially coming. But that's just what people on the internet are saying, not me. I texted him. I said, hey, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it was a big discussion for us going on that channel, by the way, behind the scenes. There was a lot of people pissed. There's still people probably pissed. I know we aren't exactly his style. He has made that apparent or whatever, but our interaction, it's been once or twice, is a good one. It is a good one.
I mean, what do you mean? Like, where else would you? I mean, you could go on any channel. I feel like on Sirius, it doesn't really matter. But Mad Dog's a big channel. I think it fits. It seems like it's the right spot.
Nah, we're much different than Chris Mad Dog Russo.
Well, you don't want. Do you want the same? If you have a channel, do you want all the shows to be the same kind of people, the same kind of personalities?
This is going to sound so bad and sound so self-righteous and shallow, but I do not give a fuck. Like, whenever they were upset about it over there, and it's cool. I have my blinders on. I'm in Indiana, so I don't even know what's going on in New York. I guess there was real conversations happening about people not happy, and it was like...
But who's not happy? Because the bosses made the decision to put you on there.
Yeah, but I think it was potentially torn into bosses. You know what I mean? This was a big deal,
normal.
I guess.
That should be normal for any new show that's coming to a channel, I would imagine. It's not a new show, but they're bringing something new on.
Yeah, but also like we own the show. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was an entire thing. But to be honest, I'm very appreciative. I like the people that I've dealt with over at Sirius and everything like that. But I don't even kind of
out of sight, out of mind.
I don't even think about it. But then every once in a while, an interview will come out. Chris Mad Dog
Exactly. Exactly. Like he did the interview. Big personality.
I got to find that. I got to read that.
It was awesome.
That's wild. I'll send it to you.
I mean, I don't know if he was. I mean, he could take a shot in a much better fashion. He's incredibly talented. He is impeccable with his words. You know what I mean? He's impeccable with his words. One of the 4 agreements he is.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the way he talked about every other show on his channel, except for our show, was just vastly different. Just vastly different.
Well, could it be that he knows the other shows? Like they've been on his channel for a while and he didn't know yet?
Yeah, and I think they all go to like the same events and gatherings, and we're just the outsiders that come in and we swear nobody else does. I mean, we're just wide open. Nobody else is.
The balking.
The barking.
Yeah, barking.
The barking's got
the barking.
Swear it's fine. The barking's got to fucking stop.
Too many F words, maybe. But
Barking has lasted.
It has.
Yeah, but you guys quit on it too.
No. It's still here. What do you mean?
Literally, they're dragged out so long that I almost missed the break because of how terrible the lack of enthusiasm the barks
They're
have.
old dogs now.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing it for a while.
right.
The whole 7 years.
Let's go to Justin in Hawaii on the 5 Hour Energy phone line. Aloha, Justin. What the fuck's going on with Dog? I thought he was going to catch this guy 3 weeks ago.
I don't know what's up with Dog. What's up, Pat, boys, AJ? What's going on today?
Hawaii does not deserve for that to be the first thing I think of. But hey, brah, I saw old buddy down in a swamp. He was flying planes. He was 1 hour away. What was that, 5 days ago?
Yeah.
And I automatically just remembered him running around with a paintball gun around the islands of Hawaii, just, causing havoc, picking up people smoking ice.
They just had a volcano erupt.
Really? Which island?
Don't know.
Justin, were you near the
Big Island?
Oh, man. I fucking love Hawaii. So far away. I mean, so far away. Justin, have you always lived in Hawaii? Born and raised in Hawaii?
No, born and raised in Florida, married a Hawaii girl, and moved to Hawaii,
Oh, I think we talked about this before. Justin, great to hear from you again.
Did.
Yeah, what do you want to chat about, man?
So I have a question about you've talked about the nation of the NFL being pretty much the elite nation and that they should, run the gauntlet and beat everyone and everything.
Put the picture of Myles Garrett back up on the... Yeah, go ahead.
Since you've been around the ring for a little while, how do you think pro wrestling would fare against the NFL? Do you think that they would stand a chance? They've got some athletes in wrestling, whether it be WWE, AEW.
Football or wrestling?
Well, I think he's talking about...
any sport.
Olympic sports, or what are we talking about?
Well, I think when you talked about it last, I think it was Olympic time. So you basically said in the Olympics, the NFL could hold their own, basically.
Yeah.
Dominate.
Okay, well, Justin, I appreciate that question. Mahalo, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we were talking about the Olympics, the stipulation was if the NFL didn't have football and the players that were selected that we thought would be best at the sports that are Olympic sports, and they took 12 months where all they did was eat, sleep, and train that sport, we would have won more golds than any other country in America, in the world. Okay? Yeah. We would have won more golds than anybody. That's how I still believe to this day. I've had enthusiasts from these tiny sports that we've never heard of coming after me, and I enjoy these tiny sports that we've never heard of every 4 years and telling me I have no respect and blah, 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 I don't know. And I'm like, I think you have no respect, actually, for the NFL players. Like, that goes both ways. This is a two-way street. I don't think you have enough respect for the dudes that are in the NFL currently. Now, with that being said, much different skill set when it comes to professional wrestling than when you're talking about NFL football. There's an entire, I don't want to say theatrical, but there's a part of the brain that is added whenever it comes to professional wrestling that is not required in the same fashion whenever you talk about the NFL. Although I do believe there are some freak athletes in professional wrestling. I think if it comes to just athletics and sports and things like that, a vast majority of the NFL players would win in that particular situation. I think, I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, you're around it. You've wrestled. You've been in there doing it, so you could definitely answer. I mean, I would want to ask like Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, these guys that played football, Goldberg, Mojo Rawley. He's still around?
Mojo, is he? I'm not
Dean
sure.
Mutati.
You don't have to get hyped if you stay hyped, dude. I fucking
right.
love Mojo. Yeah,
Former Packer.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of. That's why I said in the majority.
I want to ask them though. They could compare. Like I would like to ask Brock. Like, hey man, how do you think wrestlers? Like you've done it. You were with the Vikings. Like how? I don't know. Like what are the differences? What's the toughest transition from wrestling to football? All of that.
And by the way, not like people think just if you're athletic enough to do it, that's an easy transition into professional wrestling. That is not the case. No. Like it is a complete different part of the brain that you have to use as well. The talent in professional wrestling, it's a show. You know, like it's also the athleticism meets a show, meets having, I mean, there is a lot that happens out there. But I think if we're strictly talking like football, basketball, like sports, wrestling, by the way, I think. I think the wrestling WWE would win because a lot of the amateur wrestling background of a lot of the guys are incredible. Gable Steveson just got drafted to Monday Night Raw, by the way. Yeah. Andy's going back to Minnesota to wrestle as a senior in college or whatever. Crazy. So that should be awesome. But I think if you talk about all the sports as a whole, I think the NFL would potentially fare well in a majority of cases, but I'm not 100% sure.
I agree with you. I think the NFL is, I mean, obviously basketball players are stud athletes. Football players there's a lot of like, people don't think are very athletic that are. Some of these giant D linemen especially are super athletic.
I mean, no offense. I was just a punter in the NFL. I could probably beat most people at everything. You know, and that is not a statement of arrogance. That is just like I was the lowest on the totem pole of athleticism in the NFL, and I feel very comfortable in just about everything about most average humans. You know what I mean? Like that is.
I think you're right. I think that's correct.
But when it comes to some of the freaks, dude. I mean, put that picture of Myles Garrett back up, dude. I mean, Brock Lesnar, obviously.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, but imagine Commander Aziz hurling a fucking javelin.
True.
Commander Aziz, by the way.
Hopefully he's not stoned.
Yeah, Ricochet on the floor routine, too. I mean, he'd probably be able to put together something
Well, and
special.
then Reggie can fly around as well. There are freaks when it comes to athletics in WWE. That's why WWE is the WWE, right? It's, hey, come look at this person that can do something that nobody else can do. But whenever you're talking about team sports and stuff, I just think the NFL guys.
How many guys do you think? I mean, there's probably a couple guys. I mean, obviously Roman and stuff like that. But I'm trying to think. I think Kevin Owens is probably the only guy who I could see start in the NFL like that. I think he could go play guard for the Steelers, like right now.
Yeah, I think there's a couple
Mean
of those
streak,
guys.
you know, low. I mean, there's a few guys.
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee.
Otis. Nose tackle.
Don't fucking start, dude.
What?
You know you did.
You wouldn't want Kevin Owens on the line for the Steelers?
No.
Give me the Bearcat.
Keith Lee.
Bearcat looked strong.
Oh, Bearcat.
Bearcats.
Keith Lee. You know what I mean?
So Kevin Owens, that's just Ty's guy, right? He
I
seems to be
love
a big
Kevin
fan.
Owens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Athletic as hell.
Yep.
Flies around, this guy.
His
And
own. Fights anybody.
He's like Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck about his body.
Like Shane O'Mac.
Shano, yeah,
Sure.
Jeff Hardy, who's now on SmackDown. Kevin Owens.
I saw him. I saw Hardy when I came to watch it the pay-per-view. I was like, man, this is awesome. I didn't know he was even going to be there.
Maybe he was Urban's.
Oh, yeah, true. Urban, this is how you do it.
Everything goes back.
Inspiration.
To Urban. Everything goes.
And it's about 20 minutes away from the spot, so that arena was.
Oh,
so you stopped by before or after?
Hey,
No, I know the location.
Have you had your nose to the ground in this butthole finger situation in Columbus? Have you asked any questions? Do we know anything else going on over there, dude? Like,
I don't know anything.
Columbus, Ohio has become the epicenter of the biggest conversation in the NFL. Obviously, no NFL team in Columbus. It has become the whole, and you live there. How do we not know anything? This is just like when the golf tournament was there and this guy didn't even know it was fucking happening.
Insane.
I mean, do we not know anything? Like, it's not. Why do you have a guy on the show every day in Columbus? If something nationally huge happens in Columbus, that particular person isn't going to go, what's going on in Columbus? Have you found out anything from this story?
What do you need me to know? What could I possibly find out? And first off, I'm not. Am I an investigator? Do I go out? Is that what I'm doing here?
I mean,
go out here and beat the streets and work the phones and try to get some info.
Yeah,
there you go.
Hey, situations are situational, pal. We don't need you to be fucking. Who's that guy?
The dog?
Sherlock?
AJ the bounty hunter?
All these. You don't need to be all these things all the time. But whenever something like Urban Meyer happens and Shaw Pass, I mean, you should at least a little snoopsy around.
Stop in the Pine House, have a drink, get a rocks
What?
glass, whiskey neat, 2
What?
fingers.
What?
Hey, Pat, how pumped would you have been if you would have seen me in the background of one of those videos?
Fucking God. I was looking. You don't think I was looking, pal? When that first one where he had that, that arm locked down, I was fucking zooming in. It was a little bit blurry. I'm like, where's that tight fade to the top, long-haired, chiseled fuck? And you weren't in there. I was very bummed. And then alternate angle came, and guess what we all did? Oh, wow. Oh, that's a bad look for old head coach of the Jags. But also, where the fuck is A.J. Hawk? How are you not there, actually, now that I think about it? I didn't even know that was possible.
Hey, you know what? I think I was just at home with the kids, probably.
That's good, Dad.
Yeah, wow. Look at you.
General Bob knows all the juicy details, I would guess.
General Bob has been beating the streets.
Yeah, I need to get him on the
I
horn.
bet he has been on the beat over there in Ohio about what's going on. I think we're done, huh?
MLB Mega Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, shit. Hey,
yeah.
we got AFC Baseball Mega Bowl tonight, dude. Yankees, Sox. From what I'm hearing, Sox are fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
To tell us more about the AFC Mega Bowl wild card game tonight happening in baseball, diehard Yankees fan. The only two teams that anybody really knows about outside the baseball world are playing in a Mega Bowl tonight. AFC Championship Baseball. What should we look forward to, Ty, who's diehard Yankees fan?
Well, Connor said that a lot of the contingency in Boston has been letting him know they don't feel very good about the game tonight, which makes me feel not very good at all. Garrett Cole, we got the ace on the bump. He's going against a guy who used to be a Yankee. We'll see. I think we're going to score some runs tonight.
All right, quick question here. Garrett Cole still can pitch without the spider tack? Because last I heard of this guy, he had a fresh shave, and all of a sudden he was saying, if we want to talk about this, we can get into it. And then he was giving up like 8-9 homers a game after they got rid of that. He's back? Is he still shaved?
Yes, he is still shaved. I mean, have to be clean shaven to be a Yankee unless you have a mustache.
Of course.
But he got roughed up his last start, but he's been very good the second half of the season. Yes.
Who's starting for the Red Sox?
Nathan Eovaldi.
Big game of Valdi.
That's big Boston fan back there. The AFC Championship baseball game, Mega Bowl tonight is huge, and it's a big one. And this one is not for all the marbles, but pretty much
it's
for the
win or
people.
go home. I mean,
and it's Yankees Sox, so a large majority of the people that don't watch baseball are going to be like, "Oh, this is the Mega Bowl," and then you win tonight, you basically win the World Series in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, bingo. It should be noted that one of our best players did trip over second base jogging out to play right field, sprained his ankle. Will not be on the field.
See, and that's something that will happen. I don't even know if that's a lie or not.
That's real. 100% true.
That's baseball, baby. You know what I mean? Outfielder, professional athlete, trips over a thing that has been there his entire career, sprains his ankle, out of the Mega Bowl. That's what baseball is. That is what we look forward to tonight. Yankees are going to get a big win, I think. Is that who we're hammering?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm hammering, for sure.
Yeah, but you're a fan.
Still.
This is the start of the series tonight?
This is the Mega Bowl, dude.
It's one game.
Wild card. It's like a play-in game type thing?
Yeah, it's the Mega Bowl,
basically.
It's the Mega Bowl. AFC Baseball Mega Bowl.
Who's calling it the Mega Bowl?
Joe Buck on the call?
Probably.
It's on ESPN.
So no.
Joe Tessitore. Steve Levy?
Oh, Alrod, hopefully. Alrod and Matt Vasgersian.
Well,
I saw Alrod this morning. He looked like he was calling from a jail cell.
Yeah, he's in a Minnesota prison right now. So
I know
unfortunately,
Alrod. He'll find a way to get there.
Is Jet Passing going to weasel his way into this thing?
Jet
I
will be
need
there.
Jet tonight. Get the Jet out of the fucking
hanger.
Bingo.
Yeah, Tim Kirchin hopefully will make an appearance.
This is AFC baseball, dude.
Brenneman.
No, your guy won't be there.
I know you won't watch if he's not there, but
He's
he
on
won't
Fox.
be there.
He's on Fox.
Yeah, of course you
in
know.
Puerto Rico. Yeah, I think he's down in Puerto Rico. I think calling games now.
His
It's a long drive.
His dad I was talking about.
Yeah,
Marty.
he's
All
doing
right.
high school baseball now.
Speaking of, let's do our picks for tonight's Mega Bowl. All right, this will count towards our overall record, which I beat you this week. So who's the real prognosticator? You tell me.
Wow.
You got
It's you,
Yankees
man.
or Sox, dude?
I got Yanks tonight.
Fuck
too.
you.
Me too, dude.
Come on,
Here we
dude.
go, boys. Here we go,
Come
boys.
on, dude.
You got
Garrett Cole
Schwarber though,
doesn't-
right?
Yeah, we got Schwarber.
Is he playing? He's the one that tripped over second base?
No, that's JD Martinez.
Schwarber will be the hero tonight. He loves these games.
Yeah, so is Garrett Cole.
The Yankees let our pitcher out to dry. He's coming with the heat all day.
Never heard
They
of the
don't
guy.
call
He's at Tommy
big
John
name
a
of
couple
Valdi
times
for
as
nothing.
Who?
Big game of Valdi. He's got a nasty 2-finger split.
That's
Ah,
right.
really? That thing's coming
Urban,
from 12 to
baby.
6.
Yeah, Chris Sale coming
12
out
to
of the pen.
6 down there.
Uh-huh.
Wait
Are you guys
till-
gonna watch every pitch, Connor, Gump?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Gumpy definitely will. I will not. I'll put it on and then
Yes,
just
you
Is
listen.
this in New York or Boston?
Boston.
Wait until that big son of a bitch walks into the plate and they go, all rise! And it's fucking Aaron Judge doing a little bat trick. How you doing? Keep it moving. Gone!
Yeah, and Eovaldi puts one off his spine, and he doesn't even play for the rest of the game.
He'll trot right to first base, then that big meathead John Carlos stunt will take the telephone pole that he swings and put a ball into the fucking harbor.
Yeah, the last series, Stanton did hit like 5 home runs in 3 games, so I don't know if they're going to be pitching to him.
All right, so now we got 2 on, and then all of a sudden, you know who's going to show up? Fucking
Joey Votto.
Bingo, Mr. Votto, not the Joey from Impractical Jokers. That's Joey fucking Gallo. This is Joey Votto, dude. Balls gone when Votto's wood touches him, dude.
That juice head ain't hitting any baseballs tonight.
He's either going to hit a homer or strike out on 3 straight pitches.
Doesn't matter. We got 2 on the pond already because you guys won't pitch to our
That's
fucking
right.
stuff.
Okay, yeah, so Anthony Rizzo before those guys.
Ground out, double play. You guys are out bottom of the first.
No, we're too fast. We're
I like
faster
this
than
game.
everybody.
I like this good game so far.
All right, let's go Yanks.
A lot of Cubs players.
Go Yanks, go.
Go Yanks, go.
Is that the chant? What is the chant?
Go Yanks.
It's fun.
All rise.
I do like pulling for the Yanks in this particular situation because Yankee, you know why they always win?
What's that?
Because the other team's too busy staring at the pinstripes.
Oh.
You know what I mean? They were born for this moment. This Boston Red Sox team is not ready. I've never even heard of the pitcher that they have. He's going to lose in a Mega Bowl.
Unfortunately, they don't wear pinstripes on the road, and we're in Boston tonight, baby.
Yeah, but you get the point. It's the fucking Yankees, dude. We're coming to town.
This is the Red Sox. This is Fenway Park, okay?
Yeah, but that big green monster is about to get slayed a few times by old Aaron Judge and the boys.
Yeah, that's fine, because Red Sox will just slay it one more than they
Not
do.
against Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
Not against Garrett Cole.
Faster they throw it, the faster it leaves the park.
That's what I've been saying. Good wood, eyes on ball, sticks on puck, dude.
Hey, LeBron's team will not lose tonight, Pat.
Boom.
I'm sorry, but you will be losing because LeBron's team will come out.
Thought he was a
Yankees
Yankees
No,
fan.
LeBron owns the Red Sox.
That's right.
Yeah, but he's a Yankees fan.
No, he's actually an owner of the Red Sox.
He's a Cleveland Indians
But he
fan.
is a Yankees fan.
Yeah,
You're talking about the Cleveland who?
Guardians, that starts next year. They're still
the Indians.
Are they in baseball still, or are they out?
I don't know.
Yeah, they probably don't play in the Mega
They're
Bowl.
out.
They were eliminated.
They've been eliminated.
So they are the next year.
No, because they still haven't announced it. It's still not
Yeah,
till
but they're
next year.
fishing already. They're fishing. It's off season.
True.
They're the Guardians, dude, because it's a bridge, obviously.
No, I remember with the 2 Guardians guarding the bridge.
But it's not about the Guardians tonight. It's about the fucking Yankees going yard in the Mega Bowl, AJ.
I should really watch some baseball. It has been completely off my radar for some reason.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Not me, man. You heard me. I know everything there is to know about baseball.
Yeah, hey, by the way, that guy right there, that's Kevin Youkilis. He played for the Red Sox.
Yeah,
Also
I-
played
Shut
for
up!
the Yankees.
Shut up!
Yeah, he also played for the Yankees and the Reds, I
He won,
believe.
he won World Series with the Red Sox,
did.
though.
He did.
His best years are with the Sox.
But the only thing I know him for is his 11 Brewing Company, why? Hey, Urban Meyer gets a couple of these. You should see what he does.
Oh, man.
Figure
Tie his
booty
hands
holes.
together.
Come here, let me stick my fist up your butt.
All right. That's the show. It has to be. We covered everything.
Uh-huh.
We covered absolutely everything. All right.
That's a lot.
I mean, that was too much there at the end.
Well, that's what he was trying to do. I didn't do it.
You did.
True.
On the edge.
I wasn't the one who had my elbow up some co-ed's butt.
All right.
Ty's also not 0-4 and head coach of an NFL team.
Yeah, and not flying back on planes with his team.
That's right.
Did you hear Lombardi was like, I'd be like a general just flying his troops and just say, nah, I'm going to stick around here and then I'm going to go to my Pine House whiskey shop in Chop House. That's insane. That's a tough thing to get over, but if anybody can do it, old Urban can. And once again, the opinions of those shared on this particular platform do not necessarily reflect that of their peers or their boss in a lot of cases.
Well, luckily there's accompanying video with that, so, I mean.
If you want to get a trial, go to trial.
Yeah, exactly.
What
were you doing here then, Urban?
Well, it was clearly a Jeff Hardy gun. All right.
You got 2. You're
That's
trying to
not
get
the
a third
dance floor.
knuckle in there as well.
All right. All right, see. All right. All right, we're back tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Use hashtag PMSAR Book Club and go ahead and guess. Go ahead and guess what page I'm on.
Oh, nice.
Right
That thing's got numbers?
now.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
74.
All right. Go ahead and tweet hashtag PMSAR Book Club with the number 74 AJ Hawk at official
No,
AJ Hawk.
put it-
Is getting a
put
lot
up
more
on the
active on
Bruce.
social media.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Getting a lot more active.
Tell Bruce. Bruce will do it for me.
Bruce runs your Twitter account.
No, but maybe he should actually.
I don't think so. He had to put up a poll 3 times because he misspelled the name. Bruce is great at a lot of things. Okay, Bruce is unbelievable at a lot of things. I don't know if running a Twitter account is necessarily in his bag, baby. But what page do you think I just opened this thing up to? I'll give you a little tip. No, I won't. In my case, I kept reading the books, but I didn't understand them. That's
tip.
That's actually the tip here. Just the tip.
I mean, what are the odds that you better write it down because you're not going to remember?
I literally don't forget anything. It's a steel trap in here.
Really?
It's a steel trap. I should take a picture, though, to prove it. I'll take a picture. Take a picture of me taking a picture to prove that this is the thing.
Smart.
Yeah. Hold on. Here, hold up. Okay. Got it. I take a picture of you taking a picture.
All right, so you post that, and then we'll post it, and then we'll post a picture so everybody knows what page it is.
AJ, why don't you full screen on your laptop? Why do you have all the apps open on the bottom?
What are you talking about?
We could see the boobs you're looking at in the reflection
too
of
many
your
big
camera.
butts.
I don't have anything open up on the bottom. I have all my programs closed.
Columbus, Ohio. All right.
It's not a laptop either, but yeah.
What is it, an iPad?
Desktop, whatever.
It's a big iMac, the big. It's all in the one screen.
Well, you have the Pornhub app on the bottom of it, so it's
All
pretty
right,
wild.
that's the show. See you guys tomorrow. Hashtag PMSAR Book Club. What page was I on this Ron Doss calendar of great statements and sayings? Make sure you find 4 agreements.
Guy still has a job.
I don't know if the page. Who? Urban?
Tubin.
All right. All right, that's it. That's the show. Thank you, AJ.
I don't think he shouldn't have been fired. I don't think he should be fired. It was a weird choice.
I don't think I know.
That's the show, though. We got to go. I know.
Who the hell is that?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Jeffrey Tubin. Ty will fill you in.
I believe he was the guy who got caught red-handed jacking his meat on a Zoom call.
On, dude.
Oh, that was the guy top left corner?
Oh, yeah.
When he went and got the moisturizer?
CNN.
Yeah, and CNN.
Oh, no. They said, oh, no.
Oh, no, Jeff.
Oh, no.
Jeff.
He's got that thing turned off and muted.
Yeah.
He was just he was an orangutan at the zoo beating his meat.
Yes.
It says he was back at CNN after 8 months after exposing himself.
Yeah, I remember the interview.
And then they
on
let
air.
off. He had to come back and say, I made a fatal mistake. Or
He
whatever.
came back for sure.
So you were the guy jerking his jerkin on live TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all kind of new to the Zoom world, but your actions were one that was displayed by everybody on what not to do on a Zoom. And what your actions were you actually got up, went to another room, found some good lotion and moisturizer, and then you pounded the shit out of your penis. Right in front of everybody.
Yeah.
What do you have to say? That's what they asked him on CNN. They asked
How do you answer? How do you answer
He
that?
said, well, I assault my baloney every day at 2:30, and it just so happened that on that day I was on camera.
Yeah, me and Roethlisberger used to have, he said, but no, that was real. That actually happened. I forgot about that guy completely.
Me too, until right now. He is the face of jerking your baloney in the workspace now.
On Zoom.
On Zoom.
Yeah.
A lot of people doing business from home. It's kind of changed the way. And everybody thinks back to Tubes.
He has a lotion sponsor.
Thank you, Tubes.
They actually.
Oh, jeez.
Great. All right. We're out of here.
I mean, that'd be a good way to lean into it and just own it, I guess.
Well, he kind of had to whenever the way they phrased the question to him.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't come out. Yeah, I mean,
Tubin's lubin.
oh my God.
Good work.
Good work.
Has he done that yet?
I don't know. Should we reach out to him?
They're probably trying to move on. If I had to guess, they're probably trying to
Send
move
this
on.
to him. Send this to his people.
Hey, we just did some brainstorming. Don't bring an umbrella to it, by the way. We'd like you to at least add to it a little bit, Mr. Tubes, but we're sorry about what had happened to you, but the way you responded is great. We think a good idea would be KY jelly. Old Lubin Tubin out there would have been able to lean into this whole thing. They set him up for failure, though, his first day back. And it was not nearly as long as I thought it was going to be either.
I mean, an awkward situation.
But he did. He just came. He's probably still working, still covering. He's probably beating streets. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's probably beating streets.
If anything, he's leveled up
No
at
street
this
spot
point.
safe.
Bro, we live in an insane time. There was a rain delay in a dome in Los Angeles, California last night for Monday Night Football. 35-minute delay. What a wild time to be alive.
So when they built it, they knew this was going to happen, right?
If you build it, I guess they
Lightning will come.
didn't think, a massive storm will come. I had a couple conversations with some people in LA this morning, and they said the storm was bad. There's flooding in yards and shit. I guess this storm has, they're in the middle of a huge drought. It's not normal for what happens, but you would think $5 billion going 150% over budget to build a new state-of-the-art stadium, you wouldn't have to deal with a fucking delay that we have. basically eliminated from most new stadiums in that whole thing. So obviously not great for Kroenke's unrolling or unveiling of the SoFi Stadium, but the Chargers owners can't even say anything, right? Because they didn't really pay anything. Hey, Kroenke fucked up. Yeah, I mean, it's our stadium, but this guy messed it all up. That's a wild scene over there.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do? Have to pay like $200 million to fill in the gaps now, so you don't have lightning delays?
Well, you can't fill in the gaps because earthquakes, right?
Yeah,
allegedly, the earthquakes is why they had to keep some space. This was one person that tweeted me that, and they felt very smart too. And I checked out their Twitter. It seemed as if they were a smart person. So it's allegedly just a canopy that's built over the stadium, which, by the way, everybody should do. Why don't we do that in Pittsburgh, by the way, and in Cleveland, and in Chicago, and in Green Bay? We should do that everywhere, and Cincinnati as well, obviously. Maybe just do it to the practice field or whatnot. But it's a canopy, I guess. It's not technically a dome, which is fascinating.
So do they need to market it as that then? Everyone assumed it was a dome. They should have started from day one, like, hey, this is an open air stadium pretty much.
I think dome was trending last night. Dome. And it wasn't because
of Urban.
Or Tubin.
No, definitely not Tubin.
Or they just realized, like, hey, lightning's not going to sneak in inside of that building.
I mean, what are the odds you can get struck? I mean, come on. I don't think I hate all the delays when they're games and stuff. Like, come on, man, get out there.
I had a teammate in college who was struck by lightning twice. Boo McLean. Kevin Boo McLean.
Legend.
Twice.
Like directly.
Do you have scars?
His skin was like, it was a little bit obviously, like you could tell that it was the thing. Yeah, he was struck by lightning twice, allegedly.
What an animal.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
Awesome. Good for him. He's still here?
Yeah, he was a hell of a ball player, too. I mean, he could bring the hammer. I mean, Western Pennsylvania guy, I think. He was a absolute stud and a stallion, but he got struck by lightning twice. I've never been struck, I don't think.
I haven't either. I want to.
I don't think I've ever been. You want to be struck?
Yeah, if I live.
Why?
You're probably like, did it change your brain, give you special powers and stuff?
No, it doesn't give you special
or makes
powers.
you poop your pants uncontrollably.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't think
you already do that.
I don't think just a beam of electricity going through your body is necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Do we know for sure?
If you come out on the other side of that.
I mean, Kevin Boo McLean was a fucking thumper.
Exactly.
That's right.
I mean, he had that old school helmet too. I mean, he would bring it, that guy. Steve Young said, does lightning go sideways? Because science says it actually goes from cloud to earth, right? So if it was to come into that canopy, it would have to at some point turn. And then all of a sudden, science internet, Jim Cantor, started going crazy and saying, yeah, it could, windy, this whole thing. But they had the TV people still on the field and the fans are still in the stands, but can't have the game. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, very interesting. And plus, the Rams can't just shell out $300 million right now because they might have to pay St. Louis billions of dollars soon.
Kroenke can, though, I think. Kroenke has all the money.
Oh, yeah, because he owns like 8 teams or something.
Yeah, the Nuggets, I think.
Yeah, Avalanche.
I think
the Rockies. Yeah.
Arsenal.
St. Louis owns his
Arsenal
ass.
hates his
Yeah,
ass.
right now.
Well, St. Louis does, too. They're getting them.
You're going to have to sell Arsenal.
A couple billion. They might have to have an expansion team in St. Louis to get rid of this whole thing.
I mean, that'd be awful. You're a billionaire, you buy all these teams, and then you're hated by all the fan base. Like, that would be terrible. Like, why have all this money in a team?
Well, unless he's viewing it as business, right? I think.
But if you're buying, I guess if it's strictly business, then you shouldn't get in the game if it's strictly business for you.
Oh, you're telling me that fucking nutting family needs to get out of the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. All right? The
Here
Mega
we
Bowl's tonight, and there's no chance the Pittsburgh Pirates are playing in it.
Never.
AFC baseball, there's no chance the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to play in that.
You should buy you should honestly buy the Pirates eventually.
They're in the NFC?
Yeah, the Pirates are in the NFC.
I knew that. That's why I said that.
Either.
It's a lot of money, dude. If I'm
They
gonna
have played in it.
If I'm going to try to get that much money out of a bank, I'm going to do a lot of other stuff with it, especially, because I know next to nothing about good NFC baseball that we would have to know for, to be a Pirates successful operation. But I like the fact that I did spur an actual conversation around, and not that I was the first. I was not the first. A lot of Mark Madden's been banging this drum for a long time. A lot of local Pittsburgh people have. But I think I had the largest platform and said, maybe I'd be a baseball fan if somebody other than that family owned the Pirates whenever I grew up in Pittsburgh. So I feel like I was cheated by this bullshit family and what they did to the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was once a historic franchise. Now they got nobody in the goddamn stands for anything that they got going on. Somebody needs a bite that knows what they're doing. Hopefully one day we'll get to a point where Ty Schmidt will be able to own the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. You know the team, huh?
Yeah, sure. I don't know about the Pirates, but
Jesus.
if they're available, yeah, why not?
They stink.
I mean, shit, the guy they used to have is pitching for the Yankees tonight
Garrett Cole
in the Mega Bowl.
Jeez. This is Garrett Cole's Mega Bowl. That's why I'm betting on him. All right, see you all tomorrow. Hashtag PMSAR Book Club. What page was I on? Ooh.
Oh, Coach 'em Up Chuck Wednesday, right?
Oh, yeah.
What page was I on?
You took a picture, right?
I remember.
Yeah, you took a picture, too.
Steel Trap, remember?
In my case, I kept reading the books, but I didn't understand them.
Boom.
Mm-hmm.
Sound familiar, pal?
No, I didn't read that one.
You said it earlier.
It's a good one. Ram Dass seems like a good guy.
Did you read his fucking 3D book, dude?
No, and when you held that up to the camera, it almost made me dizzy. Like, I can't. Is the whole book like that?
Did the same to me.
No, not every single page, but there is a lot of things that are stacked on top of each other, to kind of make
That's
it.
a penis.
It's also very hard to read because the words aren't just left to right.
I may get the audiobook for this one.
Oh, who's reading it? Is it Aaron reading it?
That would be, yeah, hopefully.
This one's called Here and Now. This one isn't. That's who he is. That's who, a guru is. So any concept you can have of any relation to a guru obviously is a hype. How can you relate to something which is already you and everything you've ever related to or could relate to? How are you going to talk about, I met him? Who? What? I'm going to look for the guru? How absurd. You are it. It's really just another cop-out to be searching for the guru. He's your fingernail. Just bite your fingernail and you're eating him alive. When you know how to listen, everybody is the guru. Speaking to you, it's right here, always. Fucking Ram Dass make you run through a wall.
Hell
It's
yeah.
you. You're the guru, dude. We're the gurus. I'm the guru. You're the guru.
Yeah. Most gurus, though, they're running cults and they have sex with all the members usually.
All right, that's a show.
I'm saying that
That's
if you want to be a
hashtag
guru,
PMSAR book. I don't want to be. I'm just saying I am.
I
it.
don't. I am not a guru. I'm just letting you know.
This show stinks. All right, you don't have to be a cultist, philanderer, or guru. All right.
Can't wait for Chuck.
All right, coaches up Chuck tomorrow. Thanks. We'll have a lot to talk about. See you then. Cheers.